Odyssey app.
A familiar warning in a new campaign ad. Lisa Brady, Fox News, says Democrats continue trying to tie former President Trump to a controversial governing plan.
The 60-second spot from the Harris campaign warns former President Trump is out for control, tying him to Project 2025, a lengthy proposal for a second Trump term written by former administration officials.
A 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever.
Former President Trump has repeatedly denied any involvement with Project 2025, which was written by conservative think tank the Heritage Foundation. Still, Democrats are highlighting the book. Several speakers at last week's convention in Chicago held up a large copy of it like a prop.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The Trump campaign focusing on Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin today and tomorrow, while Harris and her running mate kick off a 2-day bus tour in Georgia. Israel launches a large-scale military raid in the West Bank.
This operation targeting the cities of Tubas and Jenin, going after militant cells there. Video shows troops driving into Palestinian-controlled areas. The movement comes after Israel conducted a drone strike earlier this week in the city of Tulkarem, killing a Hamas militant who was released as part of the November ceasefire deal. There is growing concern that Iran is funding and training cells in the West Bank that could launch suicide attacks against Israel as the conflict develops on the ground.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Hamas accuses Israel of trying to expand the war in Gaza. The U.S. just announcing new sanctions on an Israeli non-governmental organization and an individual accused of supporting extremist violence against civilians in the West Bank. NATO members just reaffirming a commitment to further strengthen Ukraine's defenses, calling it vital to Ukraine's ability to stay in the fight with Russia. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It really feels like August as we go through our Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies, hot, more humid, and there will be a couple of spot thunderstorms around, some with heavy downpours of rain and lightning. 98. Some spot thunderstorms around this evening. Otherwise warm and humid. 76. Thursday, partly sunny, hot, and humid. Spot thunderstorms. 98. More of a scattered thunderstorm pattern on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Retirement Advisory Group is inviting you to give them a call so you can sit down and have a free conversation with them about transitioning into retirement. Yes, when it comes to making sure that you've made all of the right moves regarding your retirement, that transitionary period is a very important one, and they want to guide you through that. So all you got to do is call them at 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. You're going to be able to sit down with them and have a conversation about your retirement and how they can help you create a personalized, structured income plan for once you get into retirement that's going to leave you feeling like you got a real grip on the situation, that you don't have to worry about it. And a worry-free retirement, that's what you've been saving for all of this time and what you've been dreaming about. And the Retirement Advisory Group and Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw, that's what they can help you achieve. 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neovitamin.com and sign up for a subscription today.
Nachos!
Hey, I'll take some.
And some Frank's Red Hot.
Nah.
You're just gonna eat these boring nachos with no flavor. Frank it up! Frank it up! This guy finally gets it.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Don't miss the historic Bronze Boots Soccer Clash, Sunday, September 8th at City Park. Catch SLU and SIUE men's and women's teams as they face off in this NCAA Division I soccer doubleheader. Get your tickets now at SeatGeek.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Yeah, I mean, we have been waiting to see this next sort of important hurdle for Kamala Harris and her campaign to jump, which is after a very successful 6 weeks here. All of that, though, Alex, very scripted. Now, a couple other things coming up. They said they were going to schedule an interview, a sit-down interview, an extensive interview before the end of the month. That now is happening on CNN with our colleague Dana Bash, our anchor and chief political correspondent, down in Georgia. Harris and Walz are going on this bus tour starting tomorrow in Georgia. The interview will take place on Thursday. It will air as a primetime special at 9 p.m. Eastern here on CNN on Thursday.
So we're going to get to see Kamala Harris sit down for an interview. She's going to introduce herself once again to the American people by answering your questions filtered through the media interviewer of Dana Bash. Oh, and Tim Walz is going to be there. Is that weird? I think it's weird. I think a lot of people are making a lot of presumptions about this interview, but let's sit down and wait and see what happens. The number one thing that I will want to know after this interview is over is, did they edit any of it? Because remember all the lead up to the Joe Biden conversation with George Stephanopoulos? It was George, right? Wasn't that who it was? I was trying to think of this earlier.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was Jake Tapper. I'm like, no, that's not right. It was Stephanopoulos. Everybody was getting ready for that, and you thought, oh, Stephanopoulos, he's part of the Democrat system. He comes right out of the Clinton apparatus. Well, that interview didn't help him. Do you remember how much ado was made about post-Joe Biden debate all the way up till that, I believe it was a Thursday, when he officially said he was not going to run for re-election any longer? We watched him double, triple, quadruple down over and over and over again. I'm the candidate. He said, and I quote, only God could get me out of this. I don't know if that's a quote, direct quote, but he basically said that it would require either a medical diagnosis or God himself to get him out of this race. To which Theo Von, when he was talking to Donald Trump, said they dressed somebody up like God and chased him out of there. That's Theo Von. Go watch that interview if you haven't. If you haven't had the time yet, find it on YouTube, find it on Theo Von's, wherever. I think he put it on X as well, so you can watch it wherever most people put that stuff. I watched it on YouTube, and it's a very interesting interview. But we were emphatically told that Joe Biden was the candidate over and over and over again. And you, maybe like me, was like, no. But you're running out of time, folks. You're going to need to get in there and get the job done if you're going to get to plan B. Maybe Joe Biden was always the plan B. I don't know. But it was Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. Nope, not Joe Biden. Kamala Harris. Well, what? Wait, what? Don't we get a say? No, you get no say in this. I certainly don't, because I'm not a Democratic voter. That was 38 days ago that took place, that he stepped down and that Kamala became the candidate, the person who he endorsed, on a tweet. He sent out a tweet. Excuse me. Somebody sent out a tweet and said, I'm out. So you're telling me, remember that press conference that Joe Biden did? I mean, folks, this just happened. This is not like super old news. I mean, it's old news in the way that days go in a political cycle. But Joe Biden was defiant and obviously visibly aggravated, angry that he was put into this position and oppositional to the idea that maybe you're not the guy, Joe. And then one day he just wasn't any longer. And we're all like, okay, when's Kamala going to do an interview? All right, month goes by, hasn't done an interview yet. Does the woman who wants to be the president of the United States need more than a month to come up with time to sit down and speak to the American people for the question and answer session? She should know all the answers. She is the answers. She herself she's campaigning to be the answer, so that whatever question comes up for the next 4 years, no matter what that question is, that she's going to be there to answer that question, that we're supposed to entrust her with the knowledge, the expertise, the experience, and the wisdom to be able to answer that question when she's faced with it. Is she going to tell Putin, I need some time? Oh, and I need a man to sit next to me to help me out. Oh, it's weird. Weird! Listen, I am not a postmodern feminist. I got a little touch of the OG feminist, I think. Growing up, I've told the story. This is just a funny story that when I think about it, I have to tell it again. I remember vividly, I was about 8 years old, and I remember going into the garage at my house, obviously where my parents lived. I was 8, and I was helping my dad with his garden. And I don't know about you all in your gardens, but every year my dad would pour his heart and soul into this beautiful vegetable garden that would inevitably be eaten by rabbits and deer. and so every year we would get spoils from this garden, but then one crop or another would get eaten up, and he'd spend all this time into making this garden happen, and then it would make him so mad. And so I remember going out and we'd harvest potatoes, and I'd pick green beans and, whatever it was that was out in the garden that he needed help with. And I was milling around with him, and we were going into the garage, and we had picked, I'm pretty sure at that point it was potatoes, because I remember being specifically dirty. And I said, Dad, why, if we grew all this, what if we just grew more and we just fed other people, and other people could do things to help us, and we wouldn't need to have money anymore, and we could just help people? And my dad looked at me in the garage and goes, Annie, you're a communist. And then he just left the garage. That was the end of it. And it was like, here's this very innocent, genuine idea that this 8-year-old had. And the truth of the matter was, it doesn't work that way, honey. And I mean, that's what he was saying in his very loving, fatherly way. It stuck, Dad. You did a good job, I think. I mean, it probably depends on who you ask. But, this idea that you can present to the American people this thought that there is an equal outcome that you can guarantee people. Kamala Harris, in her grown woman years, has really pushed for equal outcomes. She has in her mind the idea that the government can come in and suppress prices to control the outcome. Her solution to every problem that exists is Kamala Harris being in the position to make the decisions for the equal outcome. It's patently un-American. I haven't asked him, but maybe my dad would say he's a communist. I don't know. I'll have to ask him sometime. We know that what Kamala Harris has to offer is un-American at its core. I believe that there are a lot of people who look at Kamala Harris and see what she's trying to do, and the outcome, much like my 8-year-old self, feels like, well, that would be the nicest thing to do. That would be pleasant if everybody had what they needed. And we could just work to provide for each other. But that's not how it works. It hasn't been functional yet in society, and I don't see it happening functionally in this country either. When Kamala Harris is supposed to go sit down for this interview, as a woman, and I would assume she's much more of the postmodern feminist walk than just a traditional feminist walk, why in the world does she want Tim Walz sitting in there? Maybe she doesn't want Tim Walz, and maybe the campaign that is puppeting her through this entire thing is like, he's going to be sitting there. I mean, is he supposed to be there for the yuck of the whole thing? Is he supposed to lighten the mood? I mean, this is the Joy and Vibes campaign. Do they do better can they laugh at each other's jokes? I can't remember what the whole line is, but Denzel Washington says in Remember the Titans when they're getting on the bus for the first time to go to camp. Who are the two characters? Dean Martin and who's the other one? He talks to these two of the white boys who are getting on, who are like, here's how things are going to go. Because the whole movie of Remember the Titans is about combining this black school and this white school, and the story, which is an amazing movie. I don't know who out there has not seen it, but you should. Especially now, because it's football season. These two arrogant white football players go to this black coach and say, here's how it's going to go. And Denzel Washington says, essentially, makes fun of him and says, you're Dean Martin. And then I can't remember who the other one is. Somebody will tell me on the chat here. And I just feel like that's kind of what the Kamala Tim 1-2 punch is going to be in this interview. They're going to try to come off Jerry Lewis. Thank you, Christine. You're my hero. Dean and Jerry. That's exactly right. This is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to come out and they're supposed to entertain you. They're supposed to make you want more of how happy and joyful this partnership is. And they can do that better if they're with each other because, listen, every joke is funnier when you hear other people laughing about it. If I tell a joke here and you think it's funny, or if Ryan tells a joke and I laugh and think it's funny, it's probably becomes funnier for you to hear it because I'm laughing with you. And I think that this entire Harris-Walz campaign is 100% solely about feelings. And the best way that they can convey the enemy here, and I say enemy specifically, not opponent, but enemy, Donald Trump is their mortal enemy. The best way to draw the contrast they feel is valuable to them come election season is to contrast the anger and the temperament that exists on the Trump side of the ticket by mirroring it in a way that is the exact opposite, where they are joyful and they are smiling and they can look at each other. We'll wait and see. Maybe they'll come out and they'll just be like daggers in the eyes. I doubt it. I'm really looking forward to the time where Kamala Harris says, we need to build that wall. And Tim Walz looks at him and goes, what the hell? Like, where did that come from? What are you talking about? That's not what we signed up for. Mr. Tim Walz, who says, you tell me how high that is. If you tell me that the wall is 28 feet high, I'm going to invest in a 30-foot ladder company. Are we going to ask Tim Walz about that? It's very bizarre to me that the campaign that picked Kamala Harris because she was a woman of color, that's Joe Biden's words, Kamala Harris became more qualified than any of the other opportunities of folks out there, men or women alike, to be his VP on the ticket because she was a woman of color. I mean, I would think that would mean that is at least to the left, that being female is an asset over being male. Why is it that Kamala Harris is going to need Tim Walz sitting next to her? I think it's for the vibes factor. I think that we will see, and I could be completely wrong, Dana Bash interview them, and the two of them make the lightheartedness of the campaign continue from the vibes convention to the vibes interview. They don't have to answer any questions specifically. They can talk to each other. I mean, anytime that an interviewer is sitting down there asking questions, watch how many times they interrupt somebody like J.D. Vance. Watch how many times they interrupt to correct someone like Donald Trump, even when it's absolutely Leslie Stahl. Wasn't it Leslie Stahl who was talking to Donald Trump about, I can't remember what the specific issue was. Donald Trump was correcting her as it went, and she ended up being proved completely false in an inconsequential time.
On 60 Minutes.
Yes. I don't remember what the issue was specifically. I think it was the laptop.
Yeah, it was Hunter's laptop.
It was Hunter's laptop. He's like, it's verifiable. And she's like, it is not verifiable. Yeah. She couldn't be bothered. It's like, turn your head and close your eyes and move your hair from your shoulder. I got to suffer through this interview with Donald Trump. They interrupt, they correct, they take up the time of the person who they're interviewing. And watch how they do this. Watch how Dana Bash asks these questions of Kamala Harris. I was very happily surprised and impressed by the way Jake Tapper and Dana Bash handled the CNN debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So I'm going to keep my eyes open, my ears open to see how this goes. It's a really big get for Dana Bash. And of all the places that they went to, people were like, oh, well, this is going to be a softball interview. The only place they would have a super challenging interview is at Fox, and they're not going to do that. They won't even do a Fox debate. So we'll wait and see. But if you see in this interview this sort of Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin back and forth between the two, trying to keep the vibes going in their favor, trying to keep it lighthearted, then you'll know they certainly don't take you seriously. We'll wait and see. When we come back, Mike Davis is going to join us, and I am excited to talk to Mike. I haven't talked to him for a while. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, and he's going to talk to us about the new Jack Smith, the revisions of his indictment on election interference with Donald Trump. What is going on with Jack Smith, and what will the eventual outcome be of this continued lawfare? Our friend Mike Davis on The Annie Fry Show next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
RulerFoods.com, excited to now having delivery available for you. So those savings that you get when you shop at Ruler Foods can get delivered directly to your door. Check out the deals that they have right now on mandarin oranges. 3-pound mandarins, $3.99 each. Kroger 80% lean ground beef. You're going to do some barbecuing, some grilling this weekend. Pick up some of that great ground beef from Ruler Foods. That Kroger 80% lean ground beef in a 3-pound roll, $3.49 a pound. 4-count Kroger sweet corn, delicious. And 3-count tricolor peppers, more stuff to put on the grill, $2.99 each. And Kroger fresh pork loin, baby back ribs, or Heritage Farm chicken tenders, $2.97 a pound. When you are looking to fill your grocery cart and still be able to afford it, you need to go to Ruler Foods. They're Kroger brands at Ruler Food prices, and the name brands that you know and love. Make the savings yours. You go online to find your Ruler Foods at rulerfoods.com.
When you ask people here, what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler? For some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts. experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing. It's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com. Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Tucker Carlson is paying Missouri a visit, and we're inviting you to join us to see him for free on September 12th at T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Tickets are on sale now, but you can register for a chance to win online at 971talk.com. Now,
Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election suddenly brings his conduct around the Capitol attack back to the fore of this year's intensifying race for the White House. The slimmed-down indictment from 45 pages to 36 pages still alleges Trump engaged in a conspiracy to hold on to power, and it comes in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling that presidents have broad immunity for official acts. It removed all the allegations concerning Trump's attempts to pressure the Justice Department into supporting his false claims that the election was rigged.
There's the CBS News report about the new Jack Smith indictments that came out yesterday, and we want to get our friend Mike Davis back on the show to tell us exactly what's going on with the latest installment in lawfare against the former president and current nominee for the Republican side of the aisle for president of the United States. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. Mike Davis is here with us again. Mike, welcome back. It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, of course. Give us the lay of the land of what this re-indictment means against Donald Trump from Jack Smith.
This is a desperate move by Biden and Kamala and Merrick Garland and Jack Smith to try to take out President Trump through this lawfare, this last-ditch effort to take out Trump with lawfare and election interference, because they fear Trump's going to beat Kamala like a drum on November 5th, 2024. And the polling is not good for Kamala. She did not get her post-convention bounce that she was supposed to get. Trump stole that bounce when he got RFK Jr.'s endorsement and then Tulsi Gabbard's endorsement. So Trump is the uniter, bringing in high-profile Democrats into his movement, and Kamala is the divider, and they're desperate. And you're seeing the desperation with Jack Smith's superseding indictment. He is ignoring, and Merrick Garland, who had to personally sign off on this, they are ignoring the Supreme Court's recent monumental decisions in the Fisher case, where the Supreme Court clearly held that the Biden-Kamala Justice Department illegally contorted, politicized, weaponized a post-Enron obstruction of justice statute to go after corporate fraud that they deployed against their political enemies after January 6th. That 2 of those 4 counts in Jack Smith's original indictment against Trump included 18 U.S.C. 1512, this corporate fraud statute. After the Supreme Court's Fisher ruling, Jack Smith superseded his indictment, and they're still in there. They still have these 2 counts under 18 U.S.C. 1512 that the Supreme Court says that you can't use, right? So it's obvious that Jack Smith and Merrick Garland and Biden and Kamala are ignoring the Supreme Court's Fisher decision. They're also ignoring the Supreme Court's presidential immunity decision, where the Supreme Court made very, very clear you cannot charge a president of the United States, any president, for his official acts as the president, including the outer perimeter of his official acts, which is an extension of a civil case, the Nixon case from 40 years ago. And they did that in this indictment. This indictment specifically includes President Trump's discussions with his vice president that the Supreme Court said was presumptively immune. So, look, there's no chance this case will get tried before the election. But I think what Jack Smith is trying to do is get a mini trial, an evidentiary hearing in front of D.C. Obama Judge Tanya Shukin, this partisan operative in a robe, to keep Trump trapped in a courtroom between now and the election instead of the campaign trail. It's going to backfire, like I've been predicting for 2 years of this lawfare. It's going to help Trump. It's going to actually make it where Trump beats Kamala even more handily than we thought.
We're speaking with Mike Davis, the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. You can go to article3project.org to learn more about his efforts. Mike Davis, so when I am thinking back to, let's say, 2016, end of October 2016, and listening to James Comey and the way he talked about the emails that existed and the different things that maybe could have been looked into more, but they didn't because it'd be election interference and they didn't want the justice system to get in the midst of pushing the election one way or the other. And now we have the Justice Department prosecuting a nominee for election interference in a time where I feel like it would be election interference themselves for the actions that they're taking. I mean, it's like kind of like an inception thing going on here.
So Merrick Garland and Jack Smith, with Biden and Kamala's blessing, waited 30 months to bring these original charges against Trump. And then the Supreme Court just ruled in June on Fisher and presidential immunity. We are within almost 70 days of the November 5th election. Early voting starts in just a couple weeks. Jack Smith could have waited until after the election to bring this superseding indictment. It's very clear that he brought this superseding indictment for the purpose of interfering in the 2024 election. They know that Kamala is not performing where she needs to be right now after her convention. And so, voila, Jack Smith, this political Scud missile, comes out of nowhere to launch this Scud missile against Trump. This is the same Jack Smith who was deployed during the Obama administration to go after former governor Bob McDonnell from Virginia, a likely presidential or vice presidential contender in 2016. Jack Smith used a bogus legal theory of corruption to take out Bob McDonnell. He got a criminal conviction. That conviction was overturned 8-0 by the Supreme Court of the United States. It would have been 9-0, but Justice Scalia passed away. But Jack Smith did what he was set out to do, which is to destroy Bob McDonnell politically for 2016. And it didn't matter that he got reversed several years later by the Supreme Court. That is the same play that they're trying to do here. Their goal is to destroy Trump before the November 5th election this year. And they know that the Supreme Court is not going to uphold any conviction on this case. They know it. It is a bogus case on so many different levels. But the fact that they're blatantly ignoring the Supreme Court's Fisher decision and presidential immunity decision from just several months ago is pretty telling.
Mike Davis speaking with us right now with the Article 3 Project. If I think about the legal challenges that Donald Trump has had to face in the last year or so, it's been a pretty dramatic amount of time, this timeline where he has had all of these legal challenges thrown at him. Every time that they have been elevated to the Supreme Court, it seems as though, save one in Manhattan, Donald Trump has really stuck the landing and ended up almost for the better with the lawfare, the legal concerns that are being used only for the purpose of politics. But they did get their convicted felon moniker for Donald Trump. I want to know what your assessment is of the efforts being made by this Justice Department to use lawfare to win an election. Do you think that the convicted felon is enough victory for them to have made the impact they want? Or do you think that Donald Trump is really benefiting from the legal challenges that have been thrown his way?
Trump, look at the Article 3 project. We have turned lemons into lemonade. We've done over 4,000 media hits since the Mar-a-Lago raid, since this started. And we have changed the politics of this, where the Democrats thought that this lawfare would destroy Trump. They thought a criminal conviction would destroy Trump. And we've changed the politics, which makes it easier for these judges, including on the Supreme Court, to follow the law. And the American people understand, after our efforts at the Article 3 project over the last 2 years, that this is lawfare, this is election interference, these are bogus cases, and the people who pretend like they want democracy, they're protecting democracy, are sure doing a funny job of protecting democracy. They disenfranchised 15 million Democrat primary voters for Biden and installed Kamala Harris in a bloodless coup, who's never won a Democrat primary vote in her life. And then they tried to bankrupt Trump with a bogus fraud case in New York. They've tried to throw him in prison for the rest of his life with these bogus criminal cases, 4 bogus criminal cases. They're still trying to do it. Jack Smith is the Freddy Krueger of politics. He's been legally killed 5 times and he keeps coming back, right? You know, his ears are cut off and he's bleeding, but he's back. And so then they're trying to throw him in prison. They tried to take him off the ballot in Colorado and Maine. The Supreme Court stepped in and stopped them. So what did Biden and Kamala Democrats do? They're trying to destroy the Supreme Court that got in their way. And then Biden and Kamala intentionally underfunded Trump's Secret Service protection, denied several requests from Trump's career Secret Service detail. And then Biden said to put a bullseye on Trump after they said Trump is an existential threat to democracy, a Hitler who has to be stopped at all costs. What the hell did they think was going to happen? And we saw what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. Look, they can't stop Trump. This is he's unstoppable. The American people understand that they get to pick the next president, not these Biden and Kamala Democrat prosecutors and judges and witness and other operatives and these Democrat hellholes of New York, D.C., and Atlanta. This all backfired, and now this is their last desperate attempts with this corrupt judge, Juan Merchan in New York, that want to throw Trump in prison. I just, politically, selfishly, I say, do it. Put him in prison for an hour. The Supreme Court of the United States will step in immediately and stop them. They'll turn Trump into a legend, Nelson Mandela, and then he's going to be absolutely unstoppable. He'll win in a complete landslide.
Mike Davis speaking with us right now. Before we let you go, you've really laid out what the apparatus right now, the bureaucracy in the Justice Department is doing to try to preserve themselves, truthfully. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he be elected, and you have a lot of confidence that he will be, what does the Trump administration need to do to rectify this situation so that no Republican, Democrat, Independent, no American ever needs to feel like they're on the wrong side of politics, therefore they will be on an opposite side of justice?
Retribution is a key part of justice, and it's a key deterrent, and it's also good for the victims to have retribution. And I think there needs to be retribution, and it needs to be for the real crimes by Biden and Kamala Democrats, where they have politicized, going back to Obama, politicized and weaponized our intel agencies and our law enforcement at the federal level. And all these different states like New York AG's office, the Manhattan DA's office, the Fulton County DA's office, the DC U.S. Attorney's office, they have politicized and weaponized our legal system and our intel agencies to go after Trump. His top aides like Steve Bannon, who's in prison, Peter Navarro, who went to prison, his lawyers like John Eastman, Jeff Clark, Rudy Giuliani, his supporters on January 6th, who the Supreme Court essentially said were politically persecuted in the Fisher decision. There needs to be serious legal, political, and financial consequences so this never happens again. So I would say to these Biden and Kamala prosecutors and judges And lawyers and other operatives, lawyer up, because justice is coming. And as you guys like to say, nobody's above the law.
Mike Davis, we love having you on the show, and we look forward to having you back again soon. 69 days until the election. It's going to be incredibly consequential. And with a fair election, I think you're right. Donald Trump's going to win. We'll wait and see.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mike Davis with the Article 3 Project. He is their founder and president. Check them out online at article3project.org. That's the number 3, article3project.org. We're going to take a quick break. Wiggins America in studio. When we come back, looking forward to having a chat. You can still get tickets to enjoy this amazing event that's taking place in Fairview Heights at St. Clair Square by Dillard's. This WINGFEST is full of wonderful music, delicious food, and great fun. And it all goes for a good cause. Now, your $5 ticket for anybody $12 over, kids get in free under 12. $5 for 12 and older, and I'm going to tell you about the VIP upgrade here in a second, will get you in to enjoy all kinds of food, delicious wings, barbecue, drinks, awesome live music. And they are also going to have this year a massive area for kids and for families to check out that will have a huge military and first responder area where kiddos are going to get the opportunity to meet local heroes and more. If you are interested in supporting this cause and showing up, it's this Friday and Saturday, and tickets are available at MidwestWingFest.com. Everything goes to benefit combat wounded soldiers and families of local fallen heroes. Upgrade your tickets to VIP, and you'll get a special roped-off place with unlimited chicken wings and that are from the Dandy Inn, beer from Chick Fritz distributors, and private restrooms. All the details online for this weekend, Labor Day weekend, at MidwestWingFest.com.
You know, I always said for years to save my number in your phone so you don't forget. And here's why. Today, I was calling the office. So I mentioned the office number. Probably have said it, not to exaggerate, over 1,000 times. I called the office today and I dialed the wrong number. When it connected, it said number not in order, not in use, whatever they say that. Now, I am freaking out. I'm a very small business owner, and that's my lifeline. Very long story to try to make it shorter, and if Andrew can do this, I'm producing it. That's why I say save the number in your phone. Save it under BART, that's with a B. You can save it under air conditioning, that's with an A. Or whatever helps you remember, because if your memory is like mine, it's easy to forget. 314-293-2600. That's BART with a B.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this one. Have you ever been censored on social media? You have a few options here. Yes, and I deserved it. Yes, and it was totally unfair. Or no, you have not. Really, really looking forward to seeing how many of our listeners have been censored on social media. That is today's YouTube live chat poll. Speaking of social media, you go to YouTube, you type in Annie Fry, the poll will come up along with the stream, and you can watch the show until 3 o'clock. 12:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Cox Morning Show is going live to Eureka the morning of September 11th in support of the Focus Marines Foundation. Go to 971talk.com/events to find out more. We'll see you live at Chicken Ellie's September 11th with the Mark Cox Morning Show.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Anytime we play this song, I talk about Pee Wee Herman. This is the only thing I think of. Am I interrupting something over there, Ryan?
No, I was just taking a little drink. And my ice. How often does ice come out of the straw? There's a tiny little piece shot up right in my mouth. Scared me a little
I
bit.
started to talk to Ryan. He was over there having a snack.
I was panicking that you were going to start talking to me.
Well, just don't take a drink right when we go on the air.
Well, I wanted to wet my mouth a little bit, and that's how you do it. But when a piece of ice shoots up, you just get surprised.
45 minutes to do that before you got in here.
Yeah. My mouth sometimes gets dry at other times in the day, not just at like 12:20. So I have to repeatedly drink.
How about 12:44?
12:44 is one of those times.
That would have been one of those times. Yeah. The tequila song is a divider. It's like a marker, a definitive marker of millennials, and I may also add in centennials, because when you hear tequila, if you don't think about Pee Wee Herman, then you are a certain age.
Yeah.
Younger than, let's see, what movie came out in the late 80s?
I think it was mid-80s.
Mid-80s?
I'm going to say 85.
Pee Wee Herman's Big
Yeah.
Adventure?
Yeah. The show was later.
The show was after the movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
1985.
1985, I was right about the movie?
I thought he got the show. I thought he got the movie because of the show.
Yeah.
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
And then Pee Wee's Playhouse was like a spin-off of like a stage show or something. He was a character that guy did. Paul Rubin?
There's three things I know about him. One of them is that he had a movie. One of them is that he had a show. And the other is that he went to the movies.
That you're not far off. That's what most Americans know.
Wiggins!
Wiggins! I got more Pee Wee material.
We know.
The movie came out in 1985. The show came out in 1986. So
first.
The movie came out first. Were you a big fan of the show? Or
I liked it. It was fun.
You were probably pretty young when that was on.
We grew up with 5 channels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure, or Pee Wee's Playhouse, was competing against like Ricky Lake.
Yeah.
That's actually probably later, but like Phil Donahue, I'm choosing Pee Wee.
Sally, Jesse, Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
1986 to 1990. And it was on reruns until 1991, when it suddenly stopped being in reruns because of the news items.
I think about regularly as a parent. For instance, I told a story about watching The Goonies, and the beginning of The Goonies is the movie's PG, but the beginning of The Goonies doesn't strike me as PG. There's the whole statue. The statue falls over.
Oh, man.
A part breaks off of the statue. They glue the part back on wrong. It's upside down. It's my mom's favorite part. And I'm like, hey, kids, let's watch movies from my childhood. Let's turn on The Goonies. And then we're watching this, and I don't remember any of that. It's happening, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
what's happening?
we watched it.
And then I'm sitting there, and it's like, I'm thinking, I'm panicking. I'm in a full panic because I'm thinking, do I laugh nervously because it's actually pretty hilarious? Or do I, like, create a diversion over here, like fall out of my chair and like lay on the floor like, oh, I'm hurt. Oh, I'm feeling okay. I'm good. I'm good.
I hit myself in the face with a pillow over and over.
Or do I sit very quietly and maybe they're not paying full attention, which is what I ended up doing. And as that's happening, their jaws drop and they slow pan with the biggest saucer eyes to mom. And I'm like, I don't remember this part.
Wait, did you say that was your favorite part or your mom's favorite part of the movie?
The statue is in the house, and I'm not going to be descriptive because I know some of you are riding with impressionable ears in your car. Your husband's
statue of David.
Statue is and then they knock the statue over, and there's a part of the statue of David that falls off, it breaks off, and they glue it back on, but they glue it on wrong because they didn't know.
They glue it on
upside down.
Yeah, facing the wrong direction.
And Frodo, or whatever the Hobbit's name is. What's his name? Sean Astin.
Yeah. He would have been better as Frodo at that age.
He goes, oh no, or he either says it or someone else says, oh no, that's his mom's favorite part.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you said just like fleetingly, that's my mom's favorite part. And I was like, wait a minute.
It sounds like something Mouth would say.
No, but they say that, and it was like in unison. My kids just slow pan and look at me like, we thought we knew you. And I was like, I don't remember this part of the movie. But my 14-year-old's like, I'm like, sorry, now you know. You're learning things from the Goonies. I guess but anyway, this is all to say that when we were growing up, like I was like embarrassed that my kids saw that and I let them see it. Our parents would go to work and we would watch Jenny Jones and Jerry Springer.
Oh my gosh.
And like everybody did that. It wasn't like we had selective.
Yeah.
That's what television
was. On. It was just on. You had a TV in your room a lot of times.
You'd watch soap operas because it was what was on.
I mean, I tried to avoid soap operas, but it was on TV. So I did probably watch them at some point.
Man, the 80s and the 90s were a little bit different. I do say, though, that the way that hit in the 80s or the 90s is incredibly different because we were not all day saturated in sex the way kids are today. The exposure to that type of stuff today is way more. I mean, even in commercials on the television while you're like watching a baseball game or something like that, there are things where it's like, especially going into the Halloween season, where like you're going to be watching and all of a sudden you've got like a possessed woman eating somebody's face off or something like that. It's like, whoa, my 3-year-old didn't need to see that, but here we are. It's been seen.
And it's not just that it's oversaturated. It's that we knew back then this is not really, we're peeking behind the curtain.
Yeah.
This isn't normal.
Yeah.
And that's
now it's
important.
everywhere.
Yeah,
and
it's
much
important.
more realistic than it ever was when we were growing up.
So what I've brought for you for Wiggins America today is a series of stories about California. I've done this before, of course, but there's a thesis here that I want you to think about when I'm giving you these stories. You've heard the phrase before, what happens in America first happens in California, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's heard that. So when I read these stories, I want to know whether you think that this really is a harbinger of things to come for the country. Of course, it's probably no surprise that these are not positive things. The first one is that California will be the first U.S. state to direct, this is breaking news in the last day or so, first U.S. state to direct millions of dollars from taxpayer money and tech companies to help pay for journalism and AI research under a new deal announced on Wednesday. Governor Gavin Newsom said, quote, "This agreement represents a major breakthrough in ensuring the survival of newsrooms and bolstering local journalism across California, leveraging substantial tech industry resources without imposing new taxes on Californians. The deal not only provides funding to support hundreds of new journalists, but helps rebuild a robust and dynamic California press corps for years to come, reinforcing the vital role of journalism in our democracy."
What are the requirements to receive the funding?
There's a lot of detail to this. All it says in real detail is that they modeled it after Canadian support of their journalists in Canada. So we're talking about some of their news networks. This is mostly local to California, like local news, now going to be government funded in California. That is frightening, first of all. But second, my question for you is this a harbinger of things to come? We're very close to being state-run media as it is. Could this ever be federalized?
I mean, I don't know. How could it be?
I'm looking at
a free press. The First Amendment, a free press can't be federalized.
Well, it's not going to be a free press in California anymore. It's going to be subsidized by the government. I mean, this is the first time we've ever seen this.
Well, but that's kind of the thing. That's the rub. If there's requirements that to receive this funding, you have to make sure that you do A, B, and C, then yes, there's undue influence there. If this is just, hey, here's the government funding to ensure that everything works and keeps going, that's not necessarily the government's heavy hand, but it is a doorway to open that up to let people in.
And can't you still report? I mean, everybody can still report. You just don't get the funding.
Well, I'm just saying this is the first time we've ever seen taxpayer money allocated to support journalism.
No, wait, that's NPR.
NPR does it a little bit. There's like 9%.
All that they do.
No, it's like 8 or 9% of their funding comes from the government. So that is there.
But it's the same thing.
But yeah, I mean, this is the first time that we've seen, and that the intent of that is so old that it was like, well, we need something for basically kids programming and stuff that's not partisan, and then it became partisan. I think that's almost like that's almost showing exactly what's going to happen here. That it's going to start by saying, no, we're not going to dictate what they can say, but that's got to be where this goes, right? They will eventually want to say in what's reported.
Want to say and be able to say are two different things. And I think that if you have a constitutional case, and I think you have a very strong constitutional argument where they can offer you this money, you can take the money, and you are under no requirements to do what they tell you to do. I think if you took that up to the Supreme Court, I think you're going to win that every day of the week.
I don't know if my sweeper is up, but I'm going to play it anyway. There we go. Hey. All right, nice, Brad. Next one is California is opening quote-unquote free food markets that are costing, of course, taxpayer money. San Francisco has opened a city market on Sunday where qualifying residents can receive their groceries for quote-unquote free. This is a supplemental source for food on top of food stamps, and they show pictures of this. It's basically homeless encampments that are being subsidized because, like we've said before, they're not signing up for the programs. They're creating literal bread lines in the United States. Again, I ask, I hope, do you think this is something we could ever see in the United States, that we go back to seeing bread lines across the country?
I mean, you just said what we are.
I'm just saying it's in California right now. I'm not seeing it here yet.
They are in the United States.
They are in the United States.
I know it's shocking.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it. Last one, real quick, is California's has banned single-use plastic grocery bags a long time ago, but they're seeing that it doesn't work and that there's a lot more plastic usage because people are not reusing their bags as they were supposed to.
Well, when we come back, we're going to speak with Deroy Murdock. We're going to talk about that RFK Jr. endorsement and how his family reacted to all of that. Don't go away.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
The website is windowworldSTLewis.com. That's windowworldSTLewis.com. You're in the market for new windows and you want to make sure that you get great windows and that you don't overpay for them. Window World, that's where you go. It's simply the best for less. These windows are beautiful windows. They are going to improve the thermal efficiency of your home. They're going to improve the aesthetic of your home. And they come with a lifetime warranty that just doesn't cover parts and glass breakage. It also includes labor. If you are looking at warranties at other window companies, and you are like, okay, they offer it too, make sure that you check and see if the other folks offer labor. A lot of times they don't. Window World St. Louis does, and they're inviting you to reach out to them at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800 to schedule a free in-home estimate. And if you mention the Annie Fry Show when you give them a call, you're going to be entered for a drawing to win 4 St. Louis Blues tickets for the upcoming season from Window World. 314-993-1800, windowworldSTLewis.com.
One of the country's most storied collegiate soccer rivalries is coming to City Park in downtown West. Sunday, September 8th. Don't miss St. Louis University and Southern Illinois University Edwardsville men's soccer teams facing off in the historic Bronze Boot Clash. Both universities' women's soccer teams will also take the field, promising an action-packed day of competitive local NCAA Division I soccer. Get your tickets now at SeatGeek.com. That's SeatGeek.com.
When you think of equity and independence for people with disabilities through services, partnerships, education, and advocacy, you think of Paraquad. Come join us. Celebrate Friday, September 6th for the annual Shine the Light Gala at Ritz-Carlton of St. Louis, 100 Carondelet Plaza. For tickets and more information, go to paraquad.org or call 314-289-4200. Paraquad, envisioning an integrated society free of barriers and discrimination, where disability is viewed as a part of human diversity.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A target of opportunity. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The FBI says that's how the gunman in the Trump assassination attempt saw the Pennsylvania rally where he opened fire last month, killing one person, wounding three, including the former president. At a briefing just held, a senior FBI official says Thomas Crooks had searched online for events of both Trump and President Biden. Fox's C.B. Cotton.
Some of those searches the FBI says Crooks made leading up to that July 13th rally are pretty telling. Investigators told us today that on July 8th, Crooks searched the phrase AGR International. On July 9th, ballistic calculator. July 10th, weather in Butler.
Butler is where the rally was held. The AGR building is the roof where Crooks fired from and where he was killed by a Secret Service sniper. Trump will be in Michigan and Wisconsin tomorrow, his running mate in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania today, while a bus tour starts rolling in Georgia for Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz, who was in Boston this morning telling a firefighters union.
When Republicans used to talk about freedom, they meant it. They meant it. Not anymore. These guys over there, they want government to have the freedom to invade every corner of your life, from our union halls to our kids' schools, even our doctor's office.
The Republicans say it's the Democrats who give government too much power. Flight attendants for United Airlines voting overwhelmingly to authorize a strike, announcing results today on informational picket lines at airports across the country ahead of the busy Labor Day weekend. The union says it's their first strike authorization since bankruptcy talks in 2005. They're demanding significant improvements on a new contract from United Management after filing for federal mediation over 8 months ago. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure of 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It really feels like August as we go through our Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies, hot, more humid, and there will be a couple of spot thunderstorms around, some with heavy downpours of rain and lightning. 98. Some spot thunderstorms around this evening. Otherwise warm and humid. 76 Thursday. Partly sunny, hot, and humid. Spot thunderstorms 98. More of a scattered thunderstorm pattern on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you're looking to buy or sell a home in Illinois, Jen Teskey, she's your person. She's the person you call when you're first even conceptually thinking about the thought of listing your house. She's the person you call when you just found out you got a promotion, you're going to have to relocate, and you need to do it fast. She's the person you call when you've been thinking about it for a while and the kids are now officially moved out of the house and you just don't need all that space. So you're looking for a new home. You don't want to relocate to a different area, but you don't need to have this big house anymore. All of those circumstances, different timelines, the same phone call, Jen Teskey. When you work with Jen Teskey and RE/MAX Alliance, you are going to have the value of great expertise and knowledge to make sure that you have the best, smoothest, most lucrative situation and outcome possible with your listing, or if you're looking to purchase a home as well. 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. Reach out to Jen Teskey and talk to her team and tell her Annie sent you. Online at jenteskeyhomes.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BEDSORE.
Join us for Midwest WINGFEST in Fairview Heights this weekend. Wings, drinks, and music, all to benefit combat wounded soldiers. A huge variety of food and music. It's all in Fairview Heights. Info at MidwestWingFest.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
All I can say is that when I think about Bobby carries my father's name, and throughout his campaign, he relied on Daddy's images and Uncle Jack's images to promote that campaign. So he has an extra duty to protect their values and their vision. And were he alive today, the real Robert Kennedy would have detested almost everything Donald Trump represents.
Well, there you have Carrie Kennedy really insulting, it's her brother, correct? Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., for his support of Donald Trump. And, you know, I always find it interesting when you listen to, especially like a family like this, talk about the family name. And here you have Carrie Kennedy talking about what the family name is and really being the purveyor of what it gets to be and not gets to be. Why would RFK Jr. not be afforded that same right? It is, in fact, his name as well. Let's talk to our friend Deroy Murdock about it. This has been quite a week. He is a nationally syndicated columnist and a Fox News contributor and our friend here on the Annie Fry Show. Deroy, welcome back. There's always so much that happens in between our conversations, and the RFK Jr. announcement is no short of a big headline.
Yeah, maybe we should talk twice a day. That would allow us to keep up with what's going on around us. Yeah, you know, last we spoke, the idea that RFK would endorse Donald J. Trump was another, you know, a hallucination, another fantasy, and guess what? It happened, and it's really quite astonishing to see a Kennedy endorse the Republican nominee for President of the United States. I mean, that by itself is astonishing, and for it to be RFK Jr., not just putting out a press release, but showing up at a rally and standing up in public with him and hugging him and all that. You know, that's not something you see every day. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm a millennial. I was not alive during the Kennedy years. I don't remember from my own personal experience the Kennedy assassination. But I've been talking to a lot of people who do remember that and are really blown away by the thought of a Kennedy endorsing a Republican and Donald Trump. It seems to be very impactful for a lot of people who are watching this race unfold, very unsure about Kamala Harris because the only things we know about her is all the incredibly far leftist things she said before. She hasn't really followed up on those in this campaign. What does it mean to see a Kennedy, to you, Deroy, endorse Donald Trump, a president who is running as a Republican?
Yeah, it's really quite a surprise. Not just a Republican, but I think very conservative Republican. People will look back at his record of reducing taxes, deregulation, right to try, energy independence, peace through strength. I mean, these are very conservative, I'd say, Reaganite approaches. So this isn't like he's endorsing, Mitch McConnell or Daddy Bush for president or something like that. This is a very conservative Republican who he's endorsing for president, which makes it even more surprising. But I've made the point that his family is screaming and yelling at him and saying, how dare he, and all that. But this also is not John F. Kennedy's Democrat Party. This is not RFK's Democrat Party. This isn't even Obama's Democrat Party anymore. I mean, you've got, you've got Kamala Harris, who's the woman who advocated defunding the police, ripping the border wide open while she was the border's arena with 10 million illegal aliens running across. She says she's advocated the end of private insurance, health insurance, and having us all live under a Medicare for all, British-style socialist medicine system. She's got a running mate, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, who just recently installed tampon machines in boys' rooms in schools from grades 4 through 12. Can you imagine JFK and RFK saying, let's have tampons in boys' rooms? I mean, it's just unthinkable that these guys, the idea wouldn't even have entered even as something to reject. It wouldn't have been brought up. So this is not the JFK or RFK Democrat Party, not by a few light years. So his family's upset because he's not endorsing a party that neither JFK nor RFK would even recognize.
Deroy, what do you make of Donald Trump's very intentional effort to bring in RFK Jr. and now Tulsi Gabbard this week has endorsed Donald Trump as well? I mean, I hope that there are more people that are moving towards this idea of a unity government. But what do you think Donald Trump's ultimate goal is by bringing those individuals in during this campaign?
Well, I think it does a couple things. One is, when you're running for the not the primary election, but the general election, you want to some degree, either move to the center or show that you're open to people in the center, or maybe somewhere to the left of where a right-wing nominee will be, and try to bring in some Democrats and independents. That, to the degree that it shows those folks that he's open to their views and welcomes them into the tent, that's a big positive. And frankly, we had people in the Reagan administration. He had a number of Democrats who served in his cabinet. I think Jean Kirkpatrick, for example, was a Democrat. She served quite ably as his United Nations ambassador. I think there are roles for Tulsi Gabbard as potentially a defense secretary, which would be quite impressive. And I think RFK, I'm writing a piece I'm working on that'll be out probably tomorrow or the next day. I think an excellent place for him would be to run a presidential commission focused on restoring free speech and identifying all the folks in the government who went after him and other people, censored them, people in the White House and elsewhere in the Biden-Harris administration, putting pressure on Silicon Valley social media companies like Facebook and Twitter to block comments and statements and even the accounts of people with whom they disagreed, ranging from the Hunter Biden laptop story, which, as you know, they squelched, and Facebook and Twitter were warned by the FBI, oh, this is Russian disinformation, which turns out it wasn't. It was actually an actual real laptop, which was used in the federal case against Hunter Biden by the Department of Justice. And these folks who did this violated the First Amendment. Any public employees, federal employees who did this sort of thing, I think ought to be fired at once. And if they are attorneys, they should be disbarred. Their licenses should be shredded. And if these people broke federal statutes, and they probably did, they'll be prosecuted for this. And if they're convicted, they'll go to jail. And I think RFK Jr. is just the exactly perfect right guy to lead that effort and expose all this, put it all on the record, and then name names and make sure that people who engaged in this, I think, totalitarian, frankly, behavior pay some serious consequences and get the punishment they deserve for this extremely un-American and anti-American behavior.
Deroy, I'm thinking about, we aired as much of that speech from RFK Jr. last Friday that we could, and I was so enthralled listening to him because he didn't just throw everything that he's ever stood for away to support Donald Trump and be like, I'm MAGA through and through. Give me the copy points and I'll start spitting them. He very intentionally said, we disagree on a lot of things and pretty strongly, but there are things that we agree on. And we've made a decision to focus on those things that we agree on to get something done. And I feel like this is a flashpoint in American history where we could get back to what actually did make us great, the ability and responsibility to, spiritedly disagree on things, but focus on the places where we can come together. That's what unity really is. As opposed to the Democrats' version of unity, which is we're all united, and if you're against us, you are evil and in the enemy. But for RFK Jr. to come out and give people the opportunity to continue to disagree with Donald Trump on main political points, but see the value of the places where they do agree, I feel like America has the opportunity right now to make a really big decision going forward regarding the tribalism that we've been subjected to for 20 years.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, I would not expect, nor would I want to see RFK Jr. Being named Secretary of the Treasury and being in charge of taxes and spending, because my guess is he would be probably well to the left of you and me and our listeners and President Donald J. Trump if he were reelected. But as I say, putting him in charge of something like a anti-censorship commission, putting him in somewhere like the Food and Drug Administration, where he's expressed a lot of concern and interest about the way that drugs are approved, vaccines are approved, et cetera, that sort of thing. He could be helpful there, while at the same time not putting him in a position where either is going to be squirming and fidgeting every day trying to implement policy with which he disagrees, or even worse, sitting at his desk trying to figure out ways to drag his feet and sabotage President Trump's program. We wouldn't want that. But if he can serve somewhere where he agrees and where he's comfortable and he can make a contribution without undermining the rest of the program, I think that's terrific. And maybe that will calm things down and move us beyond the area now where if you disagree with the Democrats, you're not just wrong or mistaken. You're either Hitler or the son of Hitler, one or the other.
Yeah, it's so... Gosh, it's so dramatic. I have teenage children, and this campaign, like every single day, it's dramatic in kind of the same way as like middle school and high school drama. It's like you come home and the next day, this person said that, this person said that, and none of it is productive. I think about these candidates who are trying to become the president, all of the things they campaign on, they never get all of this stuff done. If they're lucky, they get one or two of their, pinnacle policy points accomplished, maybe not even all the way through, but a really good start. It seems as though focusing on the things that unite us is actually the most sensible way to look at things. But the Democrats, this whole idea of a vibes campaign from Kamala Harris, nothing on her website that talks about policy points. More than a month goes by, she doesn't sit down and have a conversation. Do you see the Democrats changing that playbook at all in the next 69 days before the election?
Well, in terms of policy, what she seems to be doing is just absorbing the Trump policy agenda. I mean, she has endorsed the no tax on tips. She now says that she used to be against fracking, as she's for fracking, and now apparently she's bragging that she's for the border wall. I guess the border wall is her idea. It's amazing. I mean, the New York Post called her Comma Camellia. Now on her cover they have a picture of Kamala Harris wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat. It really is amazing, and it's also totally unbelievable. It's much more plausible. Someone like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says, "Look, I still disagree with Trump on a lot of things, but we do agree on points A, B, and C," as opposed to what Kamala Harris is doing, which is basically turning herself into sort of Diane J. Trump or something like this, and just sort of co-opting and plagiarizing his entire playbook, which is just not believable. And if you believe that, I think don't be surprised if God forbid she gets elected and she suddenly over Christmas has a change of heart and says, I talked to the ghost of Christmas future, and I just take back all that stuff I said. I'm going to go back to my far left positions from before she got the nomination handed to her after the coup d'etat against Joe Biden. So I wouldn't believe this 11th hour conversion on the part of Kamala Harris, even though she's trying to get everyone to believe that she's sort of the person who wrote the Republican National Platform this year.
Deroy, last question before we let you go. You think Donald Trump's going to win this election?
I think he will. I think it's going to be very close. I think at some point the American public will, as we get past Labor Day and people get more focused on this, demand to know more about Kamala Harris and her program. I think they'll see that her adoption of one Trump plank after another is just not plausible. She can't hide from the media forever. She's going to do this sit-down interview tomorrow with ABC News, not by herself, but holding the hand of kind of her chaperone, Governor Walz of Minnesota. I mean, if she can't sit down for an interview with a friendly journalist, Dana Bash, I said ABC, it's actually CNN, excuse me. How is she going to sit down at a conference table in Geneva or Paris or wherever else it is with Vladimir Putin or with the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, or with the diplomats from Iran or from anywhere else? I mean, she's got to be tough enough to stand up to some of the most brutal dictators in the country, and it sounds like she's not able to sit down with Dana Bash in peace. Yeah. And in strength, I might add. And that's very disturbing. So I think people will look at this, and I think they'll look at a lot of our other ideas. Her embrace of the rioters in the George Floyd riots in Minnesota, urging people to put up money to spring them from jail, her support for defunding the police. All these are far-left ideas. And, I think over the next 68, 69, 70 days, it's incumbent upon all of us to educate the voters on this and just tell people what the truth is about Kamala Harris and her far-left, I would argue, Marxist agenda, and help people understand that these are essentially the ideas of Karl Marx presented with, a lovely sort of smiling presentation. And those smiles turn to snarls and the sounds of guard dogs before too long if you elect people who believe in the ideas of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, which I think describes a whole lot of the agenda we're seeing from Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and the rest of the Democrat Party today.
Yeah. Deroy, we always love having your insight and look forward to talking to you again next week. Lord knows what will happen between then and now. Who knows?
Even more excitement.
Exactly, which is why we keep having you back. Deroy, thank you for being with us today.
All right. Great to talk to you.
You too.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Deroy Murdock, who is a nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor, with us each Wednesday. Love our conversations with him. We're going to take a quick break. Let's talk when we come back about this question. Have you ever been censored on social media? You got three options, a combination of yes and no. Yes, you've been censored and you deserved it. I can't wait to see how many people admit to that. Yes, but it was totally unfair. Or no, you've never been censored. Annie Fry YouTube channel. Come say hi. Come vote. I had some messages from people who said that they were trying to comment or see the comments in the YouTube chat, and they weren't able to do that. You just got to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. We'd love to have you. Go vote. Leave a comment. We'll be right back.
There's nothing I can do.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. It's hot. You thought you might be done with having to run your AC as much as you've been running it this summer. Nope. This week is nuts. And it's St. Louis, so you've come to understand that. Who knows? In a couple weeks, maybe you'll have your furnace on. It's totally within the realm of possibility. Air Comfort Service is there to make sure that your whole HVAC system is in great working order. I trust Corey Malone in my house with our HVAC. They have replaced our furnace and our AC and our water heater and done the AeroSeal duct sealing. I'm a customer of Air Comfort Service myself. And if you've got one of these concerns in your home, go with people you can trust at Air Comfort Service. 314-513-0091. If you're in the market for a new air conditioner HVAC system, they are the company you want to install your HVAC equipment. I chose them. You should too. Not only do they do impeccable work, but they also include, with your new HVAC system installation, for free, 1 year of maintenance and a free home safety package worth almost $800. Their home safety package includes 4 accessories to protect your home and make it more comfortable and worry-free. Air Comfort Service is there as a full-service provider, and you can trust them. Just if you don't trust my word, you can check out the Google reviews as well. 314-513-0091 online at aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2024. Save 60%. Code 2024. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you're not sure who to call for air conditioning services, contact the team at Air Comfort Service. With 55 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust them with the comfort of your home. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. The Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon, Kamala and Tim Walz agreed to their first sit-down interview. Together, of course. But will they be pressed on any significant issues? We'll talk about it.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Let's go, girls. Come on. I'm going out tonight. I'm feeling all right.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Sometimes after we get done interviewing people, we talked to Mike Davis today about the new Jack Smith indictments. I got that alert in the middle of volleyball practice yesterday and was like, well, that sucks. And then I didn't read up on it. And I got home from a volleyball game last night and spent 3 hours reading and news and watching news. And it's just like, what now? Especially considering that nothing of this new Jack Smith indictment is going to materialize before the election. So we'll see what happens with that. But we had a great conversation with Mike Davis at 12:25 and just got done talking with Deroy Murdock about the RFK Jr. endorsement. When I get done, just being very candid and open with you, when I get done with interviews on this show and it's just the three of us, Brad, Ryan, and myself for the rest of the show, I'm like, anything goes. I'll come up with something to talk about.
Oh, I love that.
But we got a little bit into Shania Twain there, and it's like, oh, crap, I forgot to come up with something to talk about.
Isn't that the moment where usually you go, Ryan, sing this song?
Yeah, when I do that and then I come up with something to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the fact that the first Pee Wee Herman show was in 1981. Fact check.
The first Pee Wee Herman show? Was it the live stage show?
I don't know.
That's my guess.
No, it was an HBO special.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the TV show called Pee Wee's Playhouse started in 1986.
Correct. After the movie, after the show.
Okay.
The movie Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, the movie, wasn't the genesis of the Pee Wee Herman character at all.
No. He started on stage. That's where they started. It was like a Groundlings thing.
Which is what we said.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were talking about TV show.
The HBO.
Well, were you guys watching the TV show on HBO?
In 1981, I was not even conceived yet.
That's what I mean. Is your memory? I'm just trying to find your memory. Where did you jump in on this thing? And
That's
on
not
the timeline,
what we were talking about, Ryan. The conversation was surrounding when Pee Wee Herman became a thing, whether it was the movie or on television, it was TV.
All I knew from Pee Wee Herman, and I still feel like I was pretty accurate, is that he started on stage, then the movie really launched his television career, and then he had a TV show.
This is like Kamala Harris's talking points.
So he apparently had an HBO special at some point in
Before
there.
long in the 2 o'clock hour, Ryan's going to tell us that Pee Wee Herman came up with Build the Wall.
I am not going to do that.
No?
No, I'm going to stand by my convictions here and say
the first ones. Or
I believe that the movie
the
launched his
conventions
television career.
Or the one. That's different than what you just said.
I'm going to stick by it.
That's which one?
How is it different? Do we want to dive in?
This is impossible to argue because you've made all of the possible points.
Well, if I made two different points, I want to know which ones were different because I feel like I've been very consistent here.
You said the movie came out before the TV show.
Yes.
You didn't say which TV show.
Pee-wee's Playhouse. I did say that.
No, you didn't.
Eventually.
I did.
That was what we got to eventually.
Yes.
But that's
After
not
you looked it up.
Okay. The fact that I did not know that there was an HBO special, I don't think changes anybody's memories of watching Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Okay.
And Pee-wee's Playhouse coming after the movie.
I don't know that the memory part was the important part, but I could
But
see
it
why
did-
you bring it up now.
But it did actually come after the movie.
I do want to talk about Drew Barrymore, though.
Okay.
Drew Barrymore has this is so ironic because I had this story up to talk about sometime during the show, and the episode is actually on today on Drew Barrymore. Why do I know this? Because for some reason, what channel is this? 4?
Yes.
4.
I think.
What I think it's what Mark Cox
No,
watches
it's
in the
2.
morning.
2. Sorry.
Are you sure?
Well, they just
Does that
did,
say 2? Fox 2. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, pretty sure.
Pretty sure that's 2.
And here's Drew Barrymore back on. It's the Oprah episode. And we've made comments about it. Like, we know more about Drew Barrymore than I think any of us want to know about. And did you know that this show, Ryan, is what launched Drew Barrymore's career? Just kidding.
I fact checked.
And Oprah's career. When Oprah finally landed on the Drew Barrymore show, that's when she really became big. Drew Barrymore, this is a Huffington Post article from just a few days ago, 5 days ago. And Huffington Post and Kimberly Richards reports that Drew Barrymore plans to leave a little bit more space between herself and future guests of her talk show.
Really?
In an Entertainment Tonight interview released Thursday, Barrymore was asked what she has in store for upcoming seasons, prompting her to say that, quote, "I'll try to practice physical distance, which is not my strong point. No sugar, Sherlock." Barrymore then seemed to offer an explanation for her usual habit of getting touchy-feely with her guests. She noted that her show, which launched in September of 2020, a great time to not be practicing social distancing, especially in Hollywood. That I added that. Huffington Post didn't write that. Initially featured guests in a virtual format due to the pandemic. And she said, "Do you know how hard the pandemic was for me? I was alone in my studio by myself. I like to be around people." Just you, Drew. Do you know how hard that was for you? I mean, I feel really bad for you.
Yeah, most people just love isolating, not seeing their relatives.
Everybody else was around people.
Yeah, sorry you were in LA.
She said that her tactile interview style is, quote, "not everyone's favorite. I'm sorry to those people." Which,
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty self-aware.
I'll accept that apology.
Barrymore has faced criticism from those who say her physical affection with guests is a bit much. It's way much.
It's way much, but it's actually pretty true to her. I don't think she's being weird. She just is kind of like that.
You don't go on the Drew Barrymore show without knowing what you're getting into.
Yeah, you know. Drew Barrymore, oddly, is one of those celebrities who leans left, and I'm like, yeah, that figures. There's most people who come out, and I'm like, come on, you know, the Stephen Kings of the world. I'm like, just put a sock in it. But when Drew Barrymore, I'm like, you seem like you should lean left.
What's the difference between Stephen King and Drew Barrymore? It's like how you set the spectrum. In December, some social media users called Barrymore cringy for awkwardly touching TV legend Oprah Winfrey on an episode of the show. Drew Barrymore held Winfrey's hand and stroked her arm as the two talked. And they did. They just did it on this episode. It's over now. It's the beginning of the show. But Winfrey, this story kind of came out after Oprah was at the DNC. Winfrey later defended Barrymore, telling TMZ that she was not uncomfortable at all. I was uncomfortable, but Oprah wasn't. Not uncomfortable at all. And that the host's behavior was endearing. If you get yourself in a situation like that, what are you doing?
What if somebody's like holding my arm?
If you're like, if someone's like, I want to interview Brad of the Andy Fry Show, I want to know about behind the scenes, blah, 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 and like that ensues.
I'm going to take their hand and hold their hand and then set their hand down, and I'm going to do it in the most kindest, gentlest, low-key manner that I can. And every time they reach back, they grab me. Same method until they figure it out, or we'll just do that the whole interview.
There's only one way to find out, and that is that we do this segment Drew Barrymore style.
All right, you two, go ahead. I'm not participating in that.
I don't have to be nice to him, though. I know him.
Sitting that close to people, no
I would
matter
never
what.
even allow myself to sit that close.
Well,
to
the problem is on TV, you'll see this when they do. I've said this before. When they have the Cardinals broadcasters doing before the game and after the game, those guys are standing almost nose to nose. You can't tell it because the screen doesn't look like it, but if you look at their hands and their microphones, they're almost right next to each other. So that does exist in TV, and you can be uncomfortable, but you can make it comfortable. For people to point out that she's doing it on TV means that she's got to be sitting so close to people.
Well, they show the couch. The couch is...
That's probably what it is, yeah.
The couch could fit 6 people on it.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in the very center, essentially in each other's laps.
I mean, the interviews will start out, and they'll be sitting at normal distance, and she'll scoot, and she'll scoot,
really?
And she'll scoot.
Yeah, it's like a 15-year-old trying to make a move to put his arm around a girl.
Nice,
And then
Drew.
next thing you know, like, they're touching legs.
I didn't know they started far apart.
Oh, well, yeah.
They start on opposite ends of the couch.
It's funny that this is an article because we've talked about this both off air and on air, that we glance up and we go, what is he doing? Why is she doing that?
So
and then
close.
Apparently it's not just us.
When you watch the live stream, I guess she's on during the 1 o'clock hour. Every once in a while, you'll see me turn up and look to my right, and I'll like shudder, or I'll just like wince or be so disgusted by it. But I'll be interviewing Deroy Murdock. Like, it's not Deroy. It's not who else? Who else do I? Tyrus, I guess I interview in the 1 o'clock hour regularly.
Jim Carafano,
Steve Moore. When I'm like having a conversation about something completely normal, but all of a sudden I look repulsed, it's probably how close Drew Barrymore is sitting to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, her interview with Kamala Harris, the Mamala interview. You guys remember
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
A, no. B, this is in Joe Biden's America. I mean, there's no way to say, like, if you look around and you're like, oh, we need the status of the United States of America is that we need a hug, when she's the one who's in charge of it, probably completely, as Joe Biden is not the guy who's calling the shots.
I'm getting kicked out. I can't afford my mortgage. Gosh, I could use a hug. It's true, though. I mean, a hug would be nice. It's not going to fix your problems.
It doesn't put a roof over your head.
Kamala, the thing about Drew Barrymore is that when you meet somebody like Drew Barrymore in real life, they are wonderful to be around.
Yeah.
They're just great.
I know those people.
I do too.
I have those people in my life, and they understand that I am not like that. And I like to be around it with other people that I like know and trust. But they are radiant.
Yes, and I know I go to church with some people like this, and they're very, I don't want to say left of center because that would imply politics, and I really don't think they are, but they are warm, and they're loving, and they lead stretching classes and stuff, you know? And I'm like,
getting weird.
I love these people. They're great people that I...
Are you not one of those people?
I'm strange because
You're
think...
the closest to it in this room, I think.
Yeah, I am. I agree. Because I'm not really that person.
It was the stretching classes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very limber. I think that your mind kind of went there.
That's not what happened.
I probably am in this room.
It's never happened.
But in life, when I meet somebody like that, I'm the polar opposite of that person. So I don't know where I am on that spectrum. But I can tell you that my wife is that person.
Yeah, she is.
And it was one of the things that attracted me to her, that she's just got that kind of warmth to her. And she always has. Those are people that you tend to think of as traditional leftists. And when they go on TV, that's when it becomes a problem, when you're promoting policy that you don't have any idea really what you're doing when you're talking about, Mama, it's all feelings. And you're venturing into territory where you're like, no, just don't do that.
Maybe don't.
Yeah.
I think your wife is definitely one of those people. Those people are fun to be around because they're not, I think everybody has that kind of a person in their life. I can think of a college roommate that I had that was that person. I've had a coworker who's been that person, and they just like emanate joy. And it's unusual because most people are like me. Cynical. Kind of, I mean, maybe sarcastic. You sit in the back of the room and you have the same snark with somebody, and you're around somebody who just sees the world through positive light, and you just look at it and you're like, that is different.
Yeah.
That's a different way of looking at it. It's easier to be actually in real life associated with it than to see it on TV all the time. And I like, have I'm not a hugger. I won't not hug, but a hug has to be very intentional. It's not casual for me. And I won't like stiff arm someone if they're coming in for a hug, but it's not my natural state. That's kind of the way I am. But these people who I know in my life, like they just see you and they want to hug you. And there's zero wrong with it. It's just not my language.
And Drew Barrymore is that kind of person that kind of, I don't know how to describe it, kind of hippie kind of thing. Very loving, very warm. She is the kind of person who wants a mom. She is that mom. She's that kind of person. Kamala Harris is not that kind of person.
Well, she's the person who's supposed to tell you that she's the joyful person.
Exactly. And if Kamala naturally had that kind of air about her, you'd say, oh, okay, I could see why people like that, but she doesn't.
Well, I go back to why we initially stated that the whole joy thing, the whole idea of the good vibes and the joyfulness surrounding the Kamala Harris campaign, in my opinion still, and even more so after the convention because of how much people talked about it, it's to cover up her laugh. I think her laugh, and a lot of people refer to it as a cackle. Nobody ever says cackle in a nice way. So I try not to, I just don't need to call out and make fun of Kamala Harris's laugh to prove a point. There are so many policy-based things that I can talk about and criticize, I think, that are more important to be discussing than her laugh, but her laugh is not likable. I don't know how many people are on the face of the planet who could laugh, whose laugh you would be in contact with, that you don't know that person personally, that you would want to listen to their laugh over and over and over again. Can you even think about what Donald Trump's laugh sounds like?
No. If anything, if I've ever heard him laugh, it was like a huh, like real quick, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a chuckle.
He knows his image too well to just let go.
But when you know people like that, people who are in command, people who are in charge, when you do get a glimmer of the lighter side of them, or you get to see him, what I can see more from Donald Trump is him being amused.
Yeah.
Not like, I don't know what a Donald Trump cackle sounds like, but I'm sure that he's had a belly laugh here and there. I hope so. He seems like, actually, I know this is going to make some of you fall off your chair. I'll give you time to get back up. He seems like a pretty happy guy. Doesn't he, though? I mean, he's in control. He's a guy who enjoys being in control. He golfs. He goes and he's running this massive business. He's incredibly wealthy. He's been at the very top of political power in the world. He's pretty close to being able to do it again. I do think he's a happy warrior. I think that he is his happiest when he's in battle.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
I relate to that as well. Like, I like to compete. I like to strategize and analyze to try to best whatever I'm up against. And I mean, it might not look like it from the outside looking in, but I enjoy it.
I know exactly what you mean. And Trump is that guy. He's out to sort of take dominion, and that doesn't mean that's a bad thing either.
No,
when you're
that's
created,
what you want as a president.
Well, especially as a president, yeah.
Especially if he takes Greenland.
And that would be fine. You know what? Take a step back for a second. I think we could take them.
I think they'd sign up. I think we just need to ask. Wouldn't that be amazing if Donald Trump expands our borders? Not just protects them. He's like, I'm also going to redraw them.
We're going to add American Samoa as a state.
Will we get Republican senators?
Yeah, we would. That's why
Okay.
that one would
All
be
right.
the one, yeah.
People freak out about the thought of dividing Illinois, and I'm not somebody who's here to say that Illinois should separate from Chicago. I think we should make Chicago great again. But if we did that, the chances of the rest of Illinois adding 2 Republican senators, people are like, oh, that means Chicago is just going to have 2 Democrat senators all the time. They already have them. That's what we have already. Cut Chicago off and make Cook County its own place. The rest of the state, go look at a county map of any election in the last 15 years. You'll see what I'm talking about. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Girls need a break tonight. We're gonna take a chance.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, your flooring store here in St. Louis for Missouri and Illinois residents looking to make a smart purchase on some flooring. I want you to check out Michael's Flooring Outlet and what they can do for you. They've got 3 locations you can go into if you want to take a step further than visiting igotfloored.com. Visit them in Darting Prairie. You can visit them in West County. They're right there on Olive Boulevard, just a mile off of 270 West. On Olive. You can also see them in St. Charles County. I've been to that store, Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. When you walk into Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're going to meet a sales staff that specializes in flooring. You can go check out the flooring department in other big box stores where you're buying paint and you're buying lumber and you check out the flooring. Make sure that before you make your actual ultimate purchase that you do go to Michael's Flooring Outlet to understand the difference between people who might be working in that department this weekend versus people who are making this their living. Michael's Flooring Outlet has the best sales staff. They can tell you about the exceptional Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line of carpet or the Techwood Plus and Select lines of hardwood that give you that waterproof wood look and confidence. All of it is available for you to check out online, including your ability to ask for a free estimate. You just go to igotfloor.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hello, my name is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, where you can find us online at ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com. Do you have a house that you'd like to sell as is and not deal with the market? Maybe you have a tenant not paying the rent or a house in disrepair and you want a simple solution for your sale? We've been in business for over 88 years and we've helped thousands of people sell their house in as-is condition with no middleman involved. Reach out today at ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, and receive an offer today.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team can educate you and your business on the dangers lurking with technology. Here's a unique opportunity along those lines. Does your company have a lunch and learn or guest speakers? For a limited time, ThrottleNet is providing free lunch and learns to provide cybersecurity awareness training. One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts who can help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99% happiness with over 35,000 surveys. They have an industry-leading response time of less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom as a result of a cyber attack. Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971.
Have you ever been censored on social media? If you've been listening to the Annie Fry Show for any amount of time, I think you know how I'm going to answer that question, but we want to know how you answer that question. The options are yes, and I deserved it. Love to see who's in that category. Yes, totally unfair, or no. YouTube live chat poll of the day. Let us know what your answer is to the question. Have you ever been censored on social media? 148. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
If you missed the last debate, you missed a lot. Be sure to join us at 97.1 FM Talk for this one at Dave & Buster's September 10th. Just sign up ahead of time at 971talk.com/events. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
The Meta got a lot of things wrong. Meta needs to look at how
What
its
about the White House?
algorithms. No, I heard what you said. I mean, obviously you're asking me that because of the political environment. But if you want to talk about who got things wrong, Meta got a lot of things wrong. It's good they apologize for it. There's more that they've done wrong. And, we're holding them accountable in the courtroom to try to get them to answer for all of the things that they've done that they should not have done, including manipulating their algorithms that have led kids to do and be involved in a lot of things that are extremely dangerous and unhealthy. So did the White House get it wrong? Meta got it wrong, and I'm glad at least he has the decency to apologize for some of the things that he got wrong.
I don't want to get too off track here, but this is the Minnesota AG, Keith Ellison, a super liberal, progressive attorney general out of Minnesota. He's talking about how social media has pressured kids to do things that are dangerous and wrong, as if the Democrat Party isn't like the leading entity trying to normalize things that could be dramatically, permanently harmful to children in America. That's not the point that I wanted to make, but he said that and it made me mad that he's like, oh, this politically, I can try to frame this social media censorship that we have heard here in this letter that comes from Mark Zuckerberg. This is really a huge, huge story, part of which has come to light because of the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey's participation in a lawsuit. He wrote an article to... Zuckerberg wrote a letter to Jim Jordan, the chairman of the Committee on the Judiciary, and said, I appreciate the committee's interest in content moderation on online platforms. He goes on to say there's a lot of talk right now around how the United States government interacts with companies like Meta. And I want to be clear about our positions. Our platforms are for everyone. We're about promoting free speech and helping people connect in a safe and secure way. As a part of this, we regularly hear from governments around the world and others with various concerns about public discourse and public safety. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take down content, and we own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. I also think that we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. Like I said to our teams at the time, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. This is Mark Zuckerberg, in his own words, in a letter to Jim Jordan, who is the chairman of the Judiciary. There's more to that letter. I have retweeted it online. I will retweet it again right now. So if you want to read it for yourself, you can check it from at Annie Fry Show on X. I am flabbergasted by the about face from Zuckerberg here. I've heard pundits suggest that Zuckerberg feels a Trump win coming and is trying to clear the runway for whatever that means for him, should Donald Trump win the presidency. But they're clearly saying here that the government pressured social media platforms to determine what you were and were not allowed to say. That's egregious. That is a huge, huge problem. Good on Mark Zuckerberg for coming out and saying it, but where you been? I guess the about face on acknowledging the wrongness of it is something. It's better than nothing. Happy to see it. But, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm probably the biggest Facebook user in here, and I don't post a lot, but I do keep up with people. Actually keep up with, like, groups more now than even people, because because I feel like Facebook is a shell of what it used to be. That's our poll for today. In the wake of this Zuckerberg letter that came out earlier this week. Have you ever been censored on social media? And I'll go first on this show. Yes, we have been. It was totally unfair. It was on YouTube. I don't have... No, I've been censored on Facebook, too, via the show, specifically the New York Post article. I have been censored for sharing things that Fox News... I often will just share stories, or at least I used to share stories directly from Fox News. News reports from Fox, and I got censored from those. And I got so disenchanted with Facebook. Our Facebook page used to be a rock and hoppin' place, and we used to stream there all the time. And we don't do that anymore because Facebook basically put us in a corner and was like, you stay there. Nobody's interested in you anymore. They didn't send our stuff out to anybody. It didn't get distributed. We didn't get any interaction on it. And it just dramatically changed. And I don't have the specifics to prove it, but I'm pretty sure that we said the wrong things at the wrong time and we got blackballed somewhere in the back of the algorithm, and they just said the Andy Fry Show doesn't need to be seen by people. And then, of course, we've had YouTube strikes multiple times, which brings me to you, Ryan.
Thank you. Yeah, that is one of the main spots where I have been censored was on your behalf. I think it was when you were on maternity, and I was filling in, and I think I got either one or two, maybe even three. I don't remember how many strikes I got.
I think that we've gotten 5 strikes or so as a show. We've had 2 strikes at one time once. And I think 4 of those 5 strikes have involved you.
Really? Well, that's a little bit of a badge. I'll wear that. But I
don't think that if we went back and listened to any of the stuff that you said then, that if we did it now, that it would be a problem.
No, not at all. One of them I remember in particular is that I just played clips from the wrong doctor.
Yeah.
According to them.
Yes.
And obviously that's the point of me playing it. Is that, look, if you're going to censor me online, I'm going to play it on the radio because there is dissent here in the medical community. They banned it.
And I mean, in addition to all of that, we didn't ever change one word that we said on this show because YouTube was going to do something about it. Our first and foremost priority for the Annie Fry Show is a radio show on 97.1 FM Talk in St. Louis. We are the legacy home for conservative talk in St. Louis, and people trust us, and they should, because we speak for ourselves. Nobody tells us what to say, and we have been censored for it, but we didn't stop doing it, which is why we, especially Ryan, kept getting strikes.
Here we go again. I did feel bad because it wasn't my page.
Yeah, but
it's, we're doing the show.
We didn't fire you.
Thank you.
Well, I tried, but Steve wouldn't do it.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Gosh, I love that guy.
Just kidding. I've never tried to fire you. So what about your personal stuff?
Yeah, I was shadow banned on Twitter after the 2020 election because I asked questions that they would not allow. I posted stuff about COVID that they wouldn't allow. And they never outwardly said, you can't do this. But my follower count just stopped in 2021.
That happened to a lot of conservatives.
Didn't go up again until Elon Musk bought it.
Well, Brad, we'll get your response to this as well when we come back. And also interested in what other folks have to say. Got a lot of comments here from TJ, Jackie, Erica, Frank, Betsy, Kurt, Anthony, Lauren, G-Wibs, Robert, Christopher. And you're just the ones that were highlighted here so far. Keep them coming. Have you been censored unfairly? Or I want to hear from you people who deserved it.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The Diamond Shop in Clayton, wonderful store for you to go in and visit for your fine jewelry purchase. If you're looking for something custom, they got you covered. And right now, excited to talk about their clearance sale. Up to 70% off some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pieces right there in Clayton at the Diamond Shop. Sign up online to become a VIP, and you'll save an extra 10% off most things, clearance excluded, and you'll be able to get access to great sales that they have as well. The Diamond Shop has been in St. Louis since 1910, and the reason why this family-owned and operated business has been so successful is because it's run by great people that will listen to you, that will respect you no matter how big or small your budget is when they come in, and they end up serving families generationally. They know what they're doing. They have great, great products at very, very fair prices, and they are there to help you. So go visit them. Like I said, become a VIP online on their homepage. Just scroll down to the bottom at thediamondshop.net.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The assassin. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. In the 30 days before the shooting at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, the FBI says the gunman made 60 searches on former President Trump and President Biden, and apparently started searching months ago.
The special agent in charge of the FBI's Pittsburgh field office says online history and activity is providing valuable insight into the mindset of Thomas Matthew Crooks, but not a definitive motive. In late September 2023, an account connected to Crooks searched former President Trump's campaign schedule and appearances in Pennsylvania. Between April and July of this year, the suspect also searched for events for President Biden happening in western Pennsylvania. A senior FBI official described the rally in Butler as a target of opportunity. To date, investigators have not uncovered any credible evidence of anyone else involved in the shooting.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Trump running mate J.D. Vance is at a rally in Pennsylvania right now in Erie. Tomorrow, the former president will be in Michigan and Wisconsin. Vice President Harris and her running mate are kicking off a Georgia bus tour. President Biden's latest student debt relief plan will stay on hold. The U.S. Supreme Court just rejecting an administration request to put most of it back into effect while lawsuits from Republican-led states continue in lower courts. Police in Florida will not pursue criminal charges against the owners of the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, where a jihadist gunman killed 49 people 8 years ago.
The case will end with no charges being filed against club owners Barbara and Rosario Poma, who might have been facing arrest for manslaughter or criminal negligence related to things like allegedly allowing more than the legal capacity of patrons that night. The club was well known for catering to LGBTQ clientele.
Fox's Evan Brown, the gunman who was killed by police, told dispatchers he was taking revenge for U.S. involvement in Mideast wars. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It really feels like August as we go through our Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies, hot, more humid, and there will be a couple of spot thunderstorms around, some with heavy downpours of rain and lightning. 98. Some spot thunderstorms around this evening. Otherwise warm and humid. 76. Thursday, partly sunny, hot, and humid. Spot thunderstorms. 98. More of a scattered thunderstorm pattern on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage mortgage. Stewie, he's a bagel loan guy. You know him as the bagel loan guy. I think it's great when I talk to people just out about whatever, and they're talking about the radio show. And so often people are like, oh, the bagel loan guy, you got the bagel. And I'm like, yep, that's Stewie. He's a great guy. And if you're interested in getting a new mortgage or refinancing your mortgage, you want, yes, Stewie, the bagel loan guy. I've used him twice to refinance my loan. So I'm a customer of Stewart's American Mortgage, practice what I preach there. And it was an super simple process. I trust Stewie to give me the best financial situation that there is. And he has done that for me twice. I've even talked to him about other things outside of when I did do the 2-time refinance. And he's been like, you know what, now's not probably the best time for you to do this in your situation. He's going to be honest with you. He's going to treat you right. And he does business the old-fashioned way, which is when I give you this number, it's his number. Goes directly to him. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
At Lakeside Renovation and Design, our secret sauce isn't just the tools we use or the materials we choose. It's our people. We're not just builders. We're local craftsmen, highly skilled in our trades. Our team takes immense pride in transforming homeowners' visions into reality. We're not just in the business of remodeling. We're in the business of making homes more beautiful, comfortable, and valuable. What sets us apart? Integrity and honesty. Our craftsmen exceed expectations because we care. Lakeside, where every nail, every cut, every detail is a testament to our commitment to you.
Nachos!
Hey, I'll take some.
And some Frank's Red Hot.
Nah.
You're just gonna eat these boring nachos with no flavor. Frank it up! Frank it up! This guy finally gets it.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Don't miss the historic Bronze Boots Soccer Clash, Sunday, September 8th at City Park. Catch SLU and SIUE men's and women's teams as they face off in this NCAA Division I soccer doubleheader. Get your tickets now at SeatGeek.com.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us! That's right! Gotta love this American ride!
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Our poll for today, and we got a lot of people feeding back on Twitter as well as where the actual poll is residing on YouTube. We want to know if you've ever been censored on social media. Vote Red on Twitter said many times on the old Twitter and on Facebook. Right Makes Might says, yes, I'm shadow banned on X right now. Well, not that shadow banned. I got you. I see you. Kimmy K says, absolutely. Facebook removed my posts about Hunter's laptop almost immediately. Those are all from Twitter. And then on YouTube, TJ says, yes, during the 2 weeks prior to the 2020 election, I could only react to political posts on Facebook, even local posts. I'd try to respond, but it would not post. Jackie said, yes, I've been censored on Facebook, Instagram, Yahoo, email, and my account was suspended without a warning or response to my inquiry on Twitter in 2021. You have 3 options in our poll. One is, no, you've never been censored. And then you have 2 yes options. Yes, and it was totally unfair, or yes, and I deserved it. I kind of want one of those. I don't know if I can read it on the air and get censored. But this is something that a lot of people have been dealing with dramatically, especially COVID just took it to a whole nother level. Brad, have you ever been censored?
Do I have, I've never had a post removed, but I'm on Twitter. I posted in 2018 to 2020 up to now. I am certain that I have been shadow banned on Twitter before Elon took it over. Part of the reason I'm sure about that is because after Elon took it over and he started going in there and him and his engineers have adjusted that algorithm, I've gained way more followers at a faster pace than I've ever gained anything
Maybe you're
before.
just awesomer now.
Maybe that's what it is.
What do you think it is, Ryan?
I've noticed that you have much more concise thoughts now.
Much more concise.
Yeah,
you don't have to be as concise any longer.
That's
you can be
true.
longer-winded.
Yeah, but I think Brad has manipulated that to his benefit.
Do you enjoy on X reading longer posts or shorter posts?
I enjoy reading threads if they're highly informative.
And by threads,
that would mean a long post.
not the Facebook. Isn't that called Threads?
Oh yeah. The Google one. Or no, that is a Facebook.
It's Meta.
It's Meta.
Yeah, that's right.
We obviously are very informed.
Big users.
Yeah. Well, isn't that Alphabet owned? I really do like reading when somebody kind of has an expose. If they put it out there on Twitter, that's a good place to read it. Because if you put it in an article, I'm probably not going to link over to that article as quickly as I would just kind of hit show more, and it populates it. So I do like reading the long posts when they're good. But if it's longer than a couple paragraphs and you're just trying to make one point, make it quick.
What about you?
I like the long posts whenever they're super informative. So like Ryan was saying, if it's an article or if they're like, hey, here's the 10 steps of things that happen whenever this happens. Stuff like that, I will sit down and read that entire tweet.
Wouldn't you rather have it all be in one tweet than have to go through a thread? 1 of 10. 2
Oh, you
of
mean
10.
I get what you mean by threads now, because that's what I'm saying is when it's one long thread of a post.
Yeah, you just click show more
Yes.
and it throws that whole thing up there and you can read it through just like a
Okay. Clarify, I actually am agreeing with you. I didn't know that I was. I apologize for agreeing with you.
I forgive you.
Yeah, we just went down a road.
I'm lost. Ooh, speaking of being lost. This is crazy. I've got a couple coworker stories that I want to do with you guys here today. And they're wild. So we got this is a Fox News report. Did you hear about this Colorado man who went with hiking with his coworkers?
No.
All right. Imagine the scene.
Okay.
Fox News reports written by Steven Soros, not Soros.
Ooh, okay.
And he's reading Soros stuff on the air.
How to Treat Your Coworkers by George Soros. Wait a minute. Wait, hang on here.
On Fox News?
Why is she wearing that camo Harris Walls hat? She doesn't even wear hats.
What did I miss?
Sorace. Sorace.
Okay. Alex Soros.
You know, the funny thing
Sorace.
is the people who accuse us of that the most, they're listening right now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
An injured Colorado man weathered a storm and survived a night alone on a mountain after his coworkers left him behind on an office retreat.
That seems kind of rude.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit more of the story.
Okay.
And we'll determine who in this room would be the one who was left behind and why. And if the other two would have left the other one, like maybe we would have handled the situation differently.
Look, everybody knows where this is going.
The man, I don't know. The man was a part of a group. You feel personally attacked?
Yes.
I can't. Soros told me to say it.
Well then, I guess we just have to follow it.
And you know, the reason why we're talking about it out loud is because it's super secret. The The man was part of a group of 15 coworkers who had set off to summit Mount Shavano on Friday in what might cause some awkward encounters at the office in the coming days and weeks. One member of their party was left to complete the final summit push alone. The male hiker, who was wearing all black, reached the summit at 11:30 a.m. and became disoriented as he began his descent. He found that belongings left in the boulder field to mark the path for the descent had been picked up by the previous group that hiked down. So they left stuff so they could come back and know the same trail, but those things had been removed. As he tried to descend on his own, the hiker found himself in the steep boulder and scree field on the northeast slope towards Shavano Lake. Quote, concerned for himself, he sent a pin drop, specific location mark on a map, to coworkers already descending. These coworkers informed him his route was wrong and to climb back up the slope to regain the trail. As the man neared the trail at around 3:50 p.m., he sent another pin drop and text to his group. Shortly after sending the message, however, a strong storm pummeled the area with freezing rain and high winds.
Oh, man.
Wow.
The storm disoriented the man further and cut off his cell service.
The word disoriented always weirds me out in stories because I'm sure that's a good word.
There's a lot of ways that you can.
I just picture him going like, whoa.
Yeah, we see that with you sometimes in the show. Search and rescuers received the call about the overdue hiker at 9 p.m. I think that call could have been made a little earlier.
Yeah, there's a long time between the pin and the call.
Responding with 2 hasty teams and a drone pilot, crews worked through the night, but high winds and freezing rain prevented him from reaching the summit. The following morning, the man regained enough cell service to call 911 for help. He was found above the North Fork drainage in a gully below Esprit Point. The man told rescuers that he had become disoriented and fell at least 20 times.
Oh, my gosh.
During his attempt to descend alone, he said that after his last fall, he was unable to get up. Quote, the hiker was phenomenally lucky to have regained cell service when he did and to still have enough consciousness and wherewithal to call 911. Though he was located in a tertiary search area, it would have been some time before teams made it to that location on their own. Search and rescue officials urged hikers to stay with a partner and pack bright clothing along with other essentials when setting off in the backcountry. 15 coworkers, and this one guy gets lost on his own. I think that if you think about everybody you've ever worked with, there are people who just have a way of doing it on their own, going on their own.
Yeah.
Either boastfully or socially, they just go that way when everybody else is going this way. Are you, if that's happening, if somebody says, I'm going to do this or I'm going to be out on my own, or maybe they're not keeping up or something, are you just letting them be by yourself? Or would you think that you would stay back for them? Even doesn't matter how close you are to them.
I would think I would go out of my way to make sure I didn't lose somebody on a hike in the woods. But I also don't know the situation. Like, was this guy actually saying, no, I want to go off alone? In that case, you kind of go, what? I'm not going to stop you, but.
Yeah, but I'm not coming back down the mountain without my whole party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
what
you
if,
kind of
what
look
if
at
everybody else is going down? Are you staying back with this other guy?
No, you convince everybody, no, we can't leave the guy up here.
I at the very least will stay and make sure that we get down.
You got to be. Here's one of the problems that the guy made.
Probably berate him the whole time.
He wore all black clothes on a hike. You only do that when you're breaking into a building through the air ducts, and you want to look sexy. You don't do that on a hike.
Maybe that's what he was trying to do. Maybe that's why he was on his own.
Let's go up to the
Maybe
observation
the building
tower.
wasn't where it was supposed to be.
Dressed like Mike Myers and Sprockets.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. So that's mistake number one.
Yeah, that's clearly where he went wrong.
Yeah, they were going to. Let's go up to that building on top of that mountain. Okay, I'll put on all my all black clothes. Not really.
Do you? Brett?
No, I don't like to hike.
No interest
I
in
don't
it.
hate hiking, but I don't seek out hiking. We're also going to Colorado. Maybe I'll go see how bad this trail is.
By yourself?
Next month, yeah. Me and my friends.
We're getting pin drops from
I'm
Ryan.
going with my buddies, yeah.
Yeah, don't send a
I'll
pin
tell
drop.
them, hey, you guys go on. I'm going to go see where this side goes.
Like, Ryan, I'm in Illinois.
How scary would it be, though, to know that you left your guy behind and it was like overnight and then there's a storm? Like, it's every bad thing that could possibly happen, but it does have a good ending because he didn't die.
Yeah, I don't know if this guy was in good health either. And he could have been in great health, but hearing that he fell down 20 times makes me think maybe he wasn't.
Unless they said that he went down. He was like going down something that was too steep of a slope, so we had to retrack his trail. So, I mean, maybe the ground was causing him to be disoriented.
I hate that part of me is really concerned about the guy while you're reading the story, and the other part of me is picturing him going dope down the mountain because he keeps falling.
Oh, man. I got another coworker story to talk with you guys through, and we'll see how we would fare in this situation when we come back. We want your YouTube live chat poll votes and comments as well. Have you ever been censored on social media? No or yes, and it was unfair, or yeah, you totally deserved it. Anthony said, I personally have not been censored, but my wife has on Facebook. Kurt said, yes, all censorship is evil. Lauren said, I got banned from a Cricut staff crafting page on Facebook for saying all lives matter.
Oh my gosh.
That's hardcore. Oh, man. I just got a Cricut, guys. Give me your tips. I need to know them. Robert says, yes, Twitter now X blocked me back when I tried to post the New York Post Hunter Biden laptop story. Go figure. I wish I could do a sub poll, which is how many people shared that story and got demoted or censored for it. Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. You can trust Cassens with your next vehicle purchase. Start the shopping process. I'm somebody who, if I know that it's a year or two away before we might have to replace a vehicle, I start that process early. I want to know what fair pricing is. I want to know what my options are, what might be worth investing in, what might not. Cassens is the best place to go through that process with. Whether you know that you need to buy a vehicle right now, you're just kind of starting to look. Partner up with one of the amazing sales staff members at Cassens because they can help you through that process. They will not high pressure you. They will help guide you through the whole journey so that you get the vehicle at the end of the day that you've been looking for. And right now, if you've been shopping for Jeeps, hurry, because through August, they have 0% available on most new Jeeps. 0% available on most new Jeeps. That's fantastic. When others can't, Cassens can, and they are happy to reach you and talk to you about your next vehicle purchase. You can call them at 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712, and tell them Annie sent you along online at cassenscan.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Uh-huh. This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. For a limited time, save $55 off a new water heater. Air Comfort Service not only installs attic insulation and HVA systems, they also install water heaters. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk is online, and you can stream it on your phone anytime. Just download the Odyssey app, and 97.1 is one button away. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Just as things were looking up, you said it wasn't good enough, but still we're trying one more time. Maybe we're just trying too hard, when really it's closer than it is too far. 'Cause I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep up above in my head instead of going.
How many songs do you think you know the words to that you don't know the words to? Like, what percentage of songs that you're singing along to are you singing nonsense words or things that are completely wrong, do you think?
About 18, 19%.
Right or wrong?
Wrong.
This song is from 2001, which is just about right. I graduated high school in 2002. And what does he say? Because I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep up above in my head instead of going up above in my head. That's the first time I've ever known that's what he's saying.
Up above in my head.
I think I just would go bop, bop, bop.
Up in my head. You know what? I like too many bands from overseas
Mhm.
that I have no clue what they're saying.
Oh,
Either
man.
because they sing with an accent or because they're actually singing in Welsh. I have no idea.
What is it? Is it Blink 182? I Walk Alone on a Friday night?
I walk alone on a
Yeah,
Friday night.
it's I Wore Cologne.
Oh, yeah. To get
And
the
I-
feeling right.
yeah.
And then there's other
I was like,
things.
oh.
It takes on a whole different situation when it's him by himself.
Yeah, wearing cologne.
Yeah. What's that about? We told the story, the Fox News report that came out just here recently about this group of 15 coworkers who decided to take a hiking. Why? What do you do for a living that your team needs to go do that? I don't get that.
It's so funny.
It's a team building
The corporate culture in Denver is probably like, oh yeah, of course you guys go hiking. That's just what you do.
It's
Can
like
you
we go
imagine
eat pork steaks.
in Illinois being like, let's go hiking. We're gonna go out in the field over there.
Where? There's
Yeah.
no up.
Yeah.
Just out and back.
They're going to go to the climbing wall at the YMCA.
Somebody way out in Warrenton who's barely getting us is like, of course we do. We take the Katy Trail everywhere.
All the time. You guys have heard about the astronauts,
I know of astronauts.
that they exist?
Yeah.
Do they, though?
Ooh.
Anyway, experience Fox News story. Experienced Boeing Starliner astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams are stuck in space. They went up for what was supposed to be an 8-day trip. Do you not know the story?
No, that guy's last name is
Really?
Assmore.
You don't know this story?
No.
No, it's Wilmore.
Oh, I thought...
What are you talking?
I thought you said...
Did I? I didn't say that. I read it. What's your problem?
I thought you said the guy's name was Butch. Butch Assmore. I was like, that's an awesome name. I would select him as an astronaut too.
Roll the tape. That's not what I said.
Who are we going to take,
I
Suni,
hope-
or are we going to take Butch Assmore? I think
Will you get it together? We can't both be laughing like this. Brad's just talking to people in the chat. He's not even here.
Yeah, I'm done with you guys. This one's on you.
Come on, man.
Get it together, Ryan.
All right, we're
Stop
good.
thinking about Bush.
Now, every
Butch.
time you talk, no, stop me now look what you've done.
What have I done? Did I break you?
You said stop thinking. All right. Sorry.
This is a professional, established radio show. For now. Gosh dang it.
All right, read your Soros
it's
stories.
Hard to do. It's
Okay.
hard. Yeah, from Fox. All right, Paul Ryan wants you to know.
Okay.
What was supposed to be an 8-day trip to space has turned into a months-long one. Butch and Suni
Okay, Butch.
went to space. It was supposed to be an 8-day trip,
3-hour tour.
and they had problems, and they have to be up there for 8 months.
Yes,
Now,
I have heard this story. I did not know their names.
Can you imagine a scenario where you got stuck if you went on an 8-day trip with your coworkers and then had to spend 8 months in space with them?
Yeah, imagine if our show went to Florida like we did last year, and all of a sudden a hurricane cut off the peninsula.
It's like us being stuck on It's a Small World for 8 months instead of 8
Just
weeks.
in circles.
8 days.
And we're going, please, Elon Musk, save us.
So SpaceX was going to send a rescue wagon, and I don't understand this, but of course, their astronaut suits don't work with SpaceX stuff. So it's like trying to text between Android and Apple, apparently. But what do you do? I guess these two people, if they're going up there individually, Butch and Suni, they have to have agreed to like each other. But
guess.
when you're
I mean, you
signing
think
on the dotted line and you're agreeing to like each other for 8 days.
Yeah, I can do 8 days with Suni.
Yeah, it's professional.
Yeah.
8 months?
Man.
That's going one of two directions.
Is that a guy and a girl?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
What if they have babies while they're up there?
8 months.
Oh. C-section. Early.
In space.
Yeah. Space C-section. Spacey section.
I mean, how do you do that? Everybody that's reported on it has kind of leaned into the it'll be okay, but that end of the end is right, and you are just waiting for someone to affirm it, and it seems like it's supposed to be okay. I just think that's a very dramatic thing. That's a lot. 8 months.
I have seen this story, and I was surprised that it hadn't become CNN and Fox News putting up day 47 of astronaut watch. That seems like something they would do. But no, they did it for COVID deaths. They also did it for the Titanic submarine. Remember that? The Titanic submarine, they had day 14 watch, and everybody was on their edge of their seat. This seems like that kind of story. I'm just surprised they're not covering it that way.
Wilmore and Williams have been on the International Space Station since engineers discovered helium leaks and issues involving thrusters shortly after the Starliner docked, prompting NASA and Boeing to investigate. Wilmore and Williams are no strangers to outer space, according to the official NASA bio. This is Wilmore's third mission to the space station, and he had 178 days in space from his previous 2 missions. His most recent trip concluded in March 2015. Wilmore served in the Navy, including deployments during Operations Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and Southern Watch, including flights over Iraq. While Wilmore is in space, his wife, Deanna Ann Ordina, and their daughters, Darren and Logan, live in Texas. He gets to FaceTime them several times most days while he's on the space station. Darren said, "It's so cool. He gives us a lot of Earth views." Especially seeing the sunset. While the Wilmore family understands that family events and memories are being missed, they are used to the uncertainty and stress of this profession. So that's crazy stuff.
That is crazy stuff. It's also a little surprising that this has never happened. This seems like this would have been, you go to the space station, probably a pretty good chance you're going to get stuck up there.
I feel like this has happened before, though.
Maybe not this long? Has it happened in shorter increments?
No. It was pretty long. They had to overstay maybe a year.
I don't know.
Something like that.
Were they Russians?
What?
No.
No.
What
Okay.
kind of comment is that?
Because the Russians are up there too. They're cosmonauts, though. They're not astronauts.
Gosh, Williams is also on her third mission on the ISS. With 322 days in space before the current mission, she too served in the Navy before becoming an astronaut, having served in a Navy helicopter squadron. You know, helicopters, space station.
Yeah, same thing.
Overseas, she's got a lot of time in space already. During the military buildup of the Gulf War, she's married to Michael Williams, a retired U.S. Marshal and former naval aviator who is tending to their dogs back home in Houston. The couple enjoys hanging out with their dogs, working out, working on houses, working on cars, working on airplanes, hiking, and camping. I think it's funny that this story is like, hey, they're going to be up there for a long time. They're both married.
Yeah.
That's the story.
It's the first thing you think of.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of weird even going up for 8 days with somebody who was not your spouse. But 8 months, man, that'd be... Being the one at home would probably be harder. You're going, hope everything's okay up there.
That would be so tough. I think it would be... Everyone really likes your Butch name. I think it would be a real test of everything that you understood and appreciated, but I would also just be scared. That's why I'm not an astronaut. I mean, the things you have to accept to do those kinds of missions just in general, it's just not something that... When I flew with the Blue Angels and I flew in that, was it an F/A-18 Super Hornet, that was so outside of my understanding of any sort of actual reality that when I was in there, it was terrifying for me, but I felt very calm with the pilot who was just, he was so chill about everything that I just thought, okay, what are the odds that something bad's going to happen? I mean, more because I'm in the plane than if I would be not in the plane, but the cool, calm, collected way that his name was O'Connell, the way he handled himself, it just made me be like, this is just a Tuesday or whatever it was for this guy. This is just what he does. And this is the same thing for astronauts. It's the same thing for police officers. It's the same thing for firefighters. I mean, these people, like, if we were thrust into that situation, like, go put out that fire, be like, nah, I can't do that. Like, you just have a natural life-preserving fear of doing those things. And there are people who are doing amazing, amazing things with their lives, with their professions, like being an astronaut, like being a surgeon. I could never do anything like that. It's just weird to put yourself into their shoes and think about having to deal with that.
Did you pulled, like, do you know the G's that you pulled while you're up there? Yeah. The number? What was it?
7.5 for
What's the most
10
you could
seconds?
ever pull on a roller coaster? Was it? It's not even close, is it?
No. I mean, maybe 5 or 6 for a second or two. I mean, the fact 7.5 G's was really, really difficult to do, but it was for almost 10 seconds. So that the length of that is
it's way longer.
Super taxing.
Is there a moment? Because all I have to compare it to is rides that do similar but not as extreme of things. Is there a moment in the airplane where you kind of come up out of your seat like you're almost weightless?
Oh yeah, we did negative G's.
How long does that last?
Maybe a couple of seconds tops.
Okay.
But I mean, like if we did loops and stuff like that. And if you're interested in seeing this, I have a whole video. It's done very well on YouTube, and I'm very proud of the video. But you can go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and you can watch the whole thing.
Because I was trying to think, and somebody probably knows the answer to this who's been paying attention to the story more. I wonder, are they fully weightless the whole time they're up there, or do they have simulated gravity at times?
I don't know.
Because if you're weightless for 8 months, that's tough.
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of working out.
Yeah, and they do that. They have exercise machines and stuff like that. Like you can't do weightlifting because there's no...
Oh, I wouldn't even do it then.
But they ride
That's why Ryan
bikes
doesn't lift weights.
and all that other stuff. You know, you have to push against your own body just mass-wise. But yeah, they do that, and that's something that whenever that earlier ones, when they came back, they had trouble walking, and they had to go back into they had to do physical therapy to get their muscles built back up from having not been.
Gosh, that's got to be such a weird sensation for so long too. To come back to Earth, you got to feel like you weigh 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Tower of Terror, Gold Reef City in South Africa, pulls 6.3 G's.
There's a South Africa Tower of Terror?
I don't think it's the one you're thinking of.
No.
I think it's just another.
It's not Rod Serling.
Terrible tower. Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington used to hold the G record at 5.9. 5.5 is Castles and Coasters is the park in Phoenix, and it's called Desert Storm.
Well, that sounds awesome. I kind of want to go to this.
And then in fourth place, there are several ones listed here, but the only American one is Rock and Roller Coaster in Disney's Hollywood Studios, and that is 5.2 Gs. And I would assume that's at the takeoff.
No kidding.
Yeah, it just sticks you to your chair. And you have to remind your lungs to inhale and exhale.
I don't remember the beginning of that. I only wrote it once, and all I remember is how young Steven Tyler looked in the walk up to the ride.
Yeah.
Something that was taped like 25 years ago.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Have you ever been censored on social media? We want to know what you think. And also, I've got some more content here for Ryan Wiggins, tips to help improve your self-esteem. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
STS Armory. You find them online at sts-armory.com. You can even shop online at sts-armory.com, a very great new website that they've got for you to look through there. You can learn about the classes that they offer as well. They have a great variety of classes, including advanced classes. I mean, if you're somebody who has been looking to make a purchase in Illinois, you know that it's complicated. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. You need people. You need people in the business who can help you understand what the laws are and how you can acquire what you're looking to get and do so in the parameters that Illinois has drawn around the Second Amendment. And Katie and Jesse are experts at understanding the most current news on all of the Second Amendment stuff in the state of Illinois. And they have educational classes for people like you who might be a little more advanced if you want to, work on off-body carry or drawing from concealment. They have all of that. Ladies only classes as well if you've been interested in doing conceal and carry and getting your qualification done there. But as a female, you want to do it in a classroom full of females, then I get that. And they can do that with you at STS Armory. They're the best. 618-931-GUNS. Give them a call and ask them about the class that you're looking to take. 618-931-GUNS. 618-931-GUNS in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. Online at sts-armory.com.
I always said for years to save my number in your phone so you don't forget. And here's why. Today, I was calling the office. So I mentioned the office number. Probably have said it, not to exaggerate, over 1,000 times. I called the office today and I dialed the wrong number. When it connected, it said number not in order, not in use, whatever they say that. Now I am freaking out. I'm a very small business owner, and that's my lifeline. Very long story to try to make it shorter. And if Andrew can do this, I'm producing it. That's why I say save the number in your phone. Save it under Bart. That's with a B. You can save it under air conditioning, that's with an A, or whatever helps you remember, because if your memory is like mine, it's easy to forget. 314-293-2600. It's Bart with a B.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing
314-645-2000.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day is about censorship. Have you been censored on social media? Yes, and I deserved it. Yes, totally unfair. Or no. We're about to give you the results of this poll, but you can still vote. You got about 10 minutes before we give you those results. Type in Annie Fry on YouTube. 243. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, good Wednesday afternoon. We're getting set to go here. More flipping and flopping from the Harrison Walls campaign ahead of their big interview on CNN. We'll talk about that. Also, Brad Young's going to join us at 3:25. An update on the Dennis Hancock situation in St. Louis County and a whole lot more. It's all coming up.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The YouTube poll, which Ryan just mentioned, have you ever been censored on social media? Are we all a yes and it was unfair, or what are you, Brad?
I'm a yes and it was unfair.
Ryan?
Yes, totally unfair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I posted once, it was 2021, I think, and I posted an article, and I think this is what did it for my shadow ban on Twitter. I posted an article from Real Clear Politics about peculiarities in the 2020 election. That was it.
The crazy part about it was the things that were censored were honest questions people were asking.
Yes. And not even, it wasn't, and not that this would be better, but it would be mainstream stuff. Like, remember that Time article that said, look, it wasn't stolen, but here's how it would be stolen if it was. That kind of stuff, and the Federalist had some really good stuff at the time, that if you posted anything from reputable sources even, they'd be like, nah, you're done.
What, didn't the show even get a strike from playing Hawley's?
Josh Hawley, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like retroactive. We got the strike after, like.
Oh, there were times where we would get strikes for something that happened 8-10 months ago.
It just shocks me that there are Americans alive right now who have lived their lives under the First Amendment, the Constitution of the United States, and thought for a moment, that doesn't really apply here anymore. We're going to do what we want because we think this is the best now.
Man, the election, there's so much at stake with this presidential election. Regarding the poll, Erica said, I've been censored and received a firm finger wagging. My husband has had a couple of 7-day bans. Facebook is especially stupid since a lot of times they won't tell you why you're censored. That's the thing that frustrates me the most. Like, be specific. If you want to have an algorithm, pick something out of because they said a buzzword or shared an article or something like that. There should be specificity in what the infraction was, and there should be a way to resolve it. And that wasn't even always the case. Frank said, I've been censored and kicked off of every social media platform I've ever participated in, and no, it was not deserved or fair in any way. Betsy said, I chose no. However, no one knows for sure anything is possible. Haven't been on Facebook since 2017. No intentions of going back either. And Christopher said, if you were on Twitter at all in 2017 and ever muttered anything pro-Republican, you've been censored online.
That's a fact.
That's outrageous.
That's unbelievable.
That's all you got to say about it?
Well, it's just.
I mean, it's just hard to believe that it's true.
We're living in such a dystopia that now, I think this was said at the DNC, that Republicans are the party of censorship. You know, because we don't want to see pornographic books in schools for kids.
There, you can if you want to get if you want to go get that book, for whatever reason you want to go get that book, you can get that book.
And if you want to read it for whatever reason, again, with your kids, you legally can do that.
It's on
Nobody's stopping you. Just don't make my kids read it along with you.
Well, it's not the school's place to be putting that sort of thing in front of children.
The point being that the people doing the censorship are yelling at the other party for being censors. What the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And everybody can see this stuff, though. But I think what concerns the vast majority of people who can see this is that there is a portion of the population of the United States who does not see it. They don't want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
They want to live their little bubble of truth, and this is my truth, and you can't disrupt it.
But you can't deny it. And Mark Zuckerberg, in his letter, really verified that if you were on one side of a particular issue, the government even was pressuring them to censor in a specific way.
The Democrat government.
Yes, from the DNC.
Yes.
Yeah, ironic timing there with Mark Zuckerberg's letter. All right, you know I care about you, Ryan. I want to help you with your self-esteem.
Thank you. Just like what I do with Wiggins America oftentimes. Be like, I need to improve your dining etiquette, like yesterday.
Yeah.
Thank you for returning the favor. My self-esteem is low.
Like today? Lower
yeah.
than usual?
I just always low.
Number one tip for improving your self-esteem, Ryan, is to practice positive self-talk. In reality, do you talk yourself up or do you talk to yourself down more often?
Well, I'm looking in the mirror. In the morning, I just start kind of pull my hair a little bit. I go, "Are you stupid idiot? You stupid. Why are you so stupid?" And then I go to work.
And it's amazing how high your self-esteem
And you're saying
still
I
is.
shouldn't do that?
Don't do that.
Okay.
Do that.
Here are some examples of cognitive distortions. Catastrophizing involves expecting the worst possible outcome. What if I fail this test? I'll eventually fail the class and become a dropout. My entire life will be ruined. The next one is overgeneralization, involves making broad assumptions using limited evidence, like all of my friends will eventually get bored with me and leave. And the last one is polarized thinking, is when you have an all or nothing mindset. If I can't figure this task out, I might as well quit and find a new job. When you catch yourself saying something negative about yourself, ask yourself, is there evidence to support this thought? Could it be untrue or over-exaggerated? Is there another, more likely scenario that I'm overlooking? I am not particularly kind to myself, but in my middle age, have learned to actually say things like, what are the other possibilities? Like my initial thought is probably the most, especially self-negative one I could come up with. But I have been able to be like, what are some other possibilities at play here to kind of try to iron things out? But it's not like I'm taking the most negative one and tossing it out as if it's not also one of the possibilities.
The only time I really do this generalizing negativity toward myself is when I try to do anything handyman-wise.
It's a humbling experience.
I'm so bad at it, but I still try. I got to give myself a credit because the older I get, the more I say, you know what, I'm still going to give it a shot, which is improvement because there have been times where I'm like, I'm not even going to approach that. I still fail badly at it. Like that last weekend, I tried to hook up a water line to an ice machine. Terrible idea.
What'd you hook your water line up to? Microwave?
No, it wasn't a microwave. That would have been stupid. No, it was a Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Fried that thing instantly.
That's Teddy Ruxpin rolling around in their head. It's so goofy. Are you a positive or negative self-talker by default, Brad?
Yeah, I don't even know if I can't really think of an instance of talking to myself at all. Like
You don't have thoughts?
Well, no, not like I don't look at something and go, you can't do that or you are going to be awesome at that. I'm going to do this thing and then I just kind of do it or I don't. And I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I don't do the self-talk thing. I don't look in the mirror in the morning and go, you got this.
Nobody does. Neither does Ryan.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do too.
No.
I sing with a hairbrush.
You don't do it. Well, you might do that.
Yeah.
Why do you have a hairbrush?
Just for fun.
For singing?
I need a fake microphone.
I mean, overall, I would say, though, that I have a pretty positive attitude toward myself and doing things and stuff like that.
Number 2 is acknowledge your strengths. When you have low self-esteem, you tend to fixate on your weakest traits. One quick way to counter that is by making a list of your strengths. I'm not taking the time to make lists about myself. But I think that this is something with age becomes a little... You just kind of try to stay in your lane a little bit more where your strengths are usually more prevalent.
Yeah. Except for the ice machine.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Well, there's a difference between, I think, acknowledging, I'm not really good at this, but this is a small, simple task, and I should just give it a shot.
That's kind of where I'm at, is that I figure if I never try any of that stuff, I'll never get better at it. So I am trying it.
Did Katie
and I'm
do it?
still never getting better at it. No, she didn't. I called a handyman, and
Your kids?
no, my kids didn't do
I mean,
anything.
the first step to getting good at something is to try it, and everybody's bad at something the first time they try it.
Mm-hmm. Except for me in basketball, as you know.
As I know.
Oh, I was jamming when I was like 5.
Number 3, build competence.
Okay.
People with low self-esteem often doubt their ability to develop new skills or improve on existing ones. Taking small steps to build competence can remind you that you're capable of growth.
Except when you don't grow. Like if you keep trying and failing.
Are you hopeless?
I think so.
Are you okay with that?
I'm okay enough with it, but it does bother me. I really wish I had some of the more
What skill do you have?
masculine skills.
Deep breath. Breathe it in.
Yeah. What skills do I do have?
Like, is there a skill is there something that you're particularly handy at? It doesn't have to be with tools or, house work like that. But is there anything that you find yourself to be, I'm actually above average at that?
Specifically with handyman type stuff.
No, anything.
Well, I'm a decent writer, so I love doing that. But I also am good. I didn't know this until I've gotten older. I really like working with numbers, and I like investments, and I like money, and I like money. Surprise! But I really enjoy doing that. So I'm leaning into that more.
Do you find it hard, Brad, to work to grow competence on skills that you might be lacking in a little bit but could grow in?
No, I don't find that hard at all.
Do you try?
Oh, absolutely.
Are you okay with failing?
Oh, yeah. I'm really good at failing.
That's great.
It's super good at it. I mean, if you don't fail, that means that you're perfect at whatever, and I'm not perfect. So.
This is kind of where I struggle a little bit because I am, to you talking about handyman work, like if I have acknowledged that I am not good at this, I'm finding someone else to do it.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm not like in the stage of my life where I want to grow my skill set.
No, but every now and then I'll still just, dip my toe in the water just to make sure. Oh, yeah, I'm bad at that.
Number 5, prioritize self-care. People who truly value themselves are also carve out time for themselves. By taking time to engage in the following activities, you can help reinforce the idea that you're worthy of self-love. I do not like modern cultures look at this, but as a parent, and you got 4 kids and a job, and my husband has a job, we're always going everywhere, that I do realize that an hour to myself in a month isn't the worst thing that I can do, and carving out time for myself or for my husband and myself is important to do.
Yeah, you got to put on one of those face masks and have a little wine in the bathtub and treat yourself, girl.
Do you put water in the bathtub?
Not immediately.
No, wine. He puts wine in the bathtub.
That's a lot.
Champagne.
And surround yourself with positive influences. I think that's a key one.
Mm-hmm.
The people you put around you will absolutely impact how you feel about yourself. And if you realize the people around you are causing you to feel like crap, get new people. YouTube live chat poll. Have you ever been censored on social media? 4% of you said, yep, and I deserved it. Out of 260 votes. And this is interesting. Yes, 47% said totally unfair. And 49% of y'all said no. So almost half of our audience has not experienced that. So
surprised.
I'm glad for you. And kind of like what Christopher was saying, if you were posting in a couple of these places during 2017, you probably have been censored without knowing it. But I think the only way we'll ever find out really what happened is if Donald Trump becomes the next president of the United States. Mark Reardon, next. Don't go away.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So